Chapter 139 Making Skincare Products, Door-to-Door Gratitude _2. A divine doctor? Could it be that Yang Guobao is really fine now? But on the other hand, where in the world are there so many divine doctors? Even Dr. Wang, the imperial physician, does not dare to call himself a divine doctor. It must be Wang Meifeng trying to find a way to get herself in. Mom! Yang Changjing looked at Zhou Suhua again. Can I go open the door now? It's been 15 minutes. Go ahead, Zhou Suhua continued. But it's not because of Wang Meifeng. I'm only opening the door because of my great-grandson. And let me tell you this, if Wang Meifeng doesn't apologize for what she did to my great-grandson, I won't let her off the hook. All right. Grateful as if he just received a pardon, Yang Changjing ran out to open the door. As soon as Yang Changjing opened the gate, Yang Guobao, like a monkey, jumped on him. Dad, I missed you so much. Yang Guobao, who used to be sickly, was never this lively or energetic. Yang Changjing was stunned. Guobao, you? Yang Guobao excitedly said. Dad, I'm better. No one will call me sickly again. Really better? Yang Changjing tilted his head to look at Wang Meifeng. Wang Meifeng nodded. Yang Changjing shouted excitedly, hugging Yang Guobao and running toward the house. Mom! Guobao is better. Guobao is better. Zhou Suhua stood up inside the house, her eyes filled with tears. Better? Is her great-grandson really better? Mom! Guobao is better. Yang Changjing, holding Yang Guobao, rushed into the house and stood in front of Zhou Suhua. Zhou Suhua croaked out. Is he really better? Grandma, I really am better. Yang Changjing slapped his chest. Look at how strong I am, like a little calf. 3 months had passed, and Yang Guobao had not only grown taller, but he also got stronger, no longer skinny and frail like before. Zhou Suhua stretched out her hands, her voice trembling. Come, let grandmother hug you. Yang Guobao reached out and threw himself into his grandmother's arms. Yang Guobao used to weigh only 30 pounds at 7 years old, light as a feather when lifting him, but now he was heavy. Wang Meifeng said from the side. Mom, don't worry, Guobao is really better. He hasn't had an episode for over 2 months while staying at my mom's house, and Nai Yang also checked him and said that Guobao will have a healthy body just like a normal child in the future. Could such a young girl really be that capable? Zhou Suhua was still a little uneasy. We should take Guobao to Dr. Wang for a checkup. What if that girl had used some forbidden drugs to create the illusion that Yang Guobao was temporarily okay? Wang Meifeng knew her mother-in-law's temperament and what she was worried about. Nai Yang was indeed competent, and they were not afraid of getting checked again. Mom, if you're not at ease, let's go to Dr. Wang. Zhou Suhua held Yang Guobao and said, let's go now. Yang Changjing found the car keys, and the family of 4 hurriedly left the house. The car was fast, and they quickly arrived at Dr. Wang's private clinic. Since it was the afternoon, there were not many people at Dr. Wang's place. Seeing Wang Meifeng and Zhou Suhua come in, Dr. Wang stroked his small goatee, helplessly saying, I have already told you epilepsy has no cure. It can only be alleviated. Why are you here again? Isn't this a waste of time? From ancient times to the present, there has never been a case of an epilepsy patient fully recovering. Upon hearing his words, Zhou Suhua's heart sank. She was even more convinced that Nai Yin had fed a banned drug to Yang Guobao. Wang Meifeng, if something bad happens to my grandson today, I won't let you get away with it. Yang Guobao hugged Zhou Suhua's neck. Grandma, you can't yell at Mom like this. I'm really better. Dr. Wang sighed and shook his head helplessly. Wang Meifeng wasn't angry and instead smiled. There's always someone better out there, Dr. Wang. Just because you couldn't cure the disease doesn't mean others can't. Dr. Wang was thoroughly infuriated. Ridiculous. My grandfather was once an imperial physician. Imperial physicians are the ones who treated the emperor. If my grandfather couldn't cure epilepsy, could a country bumpkin do it? Wang Meifeng said with a smile. Just because of these conservative people, the Qing dynasty ended up collapsing. If your grandfather had been a little more modest, perhaps you would still be an imperial physician. Dr. Wang was so angry that his beard was bristling. Nonsense. Chapter 140 Making Skincare Products, Home visit to express gratitude _3. Wang Meifeng smiled and said, whether it's nonsense or a miracle, Dr. Wang will know once he examines Guobao. Dr. Wang took a seat on the chair and gestured towards Yang Guobao. Come here, young man. Yang Guobao sat opposite Dr. Wang and extended his hand. Dr. Wang began to take his pulse. The atmosphere became tense as Dr. Wang's eyebrows furrowed deeper and deeper, a look of disbelief in his eyes. Impossible. This can't be possible. How could there be someone in the world who can cure epilepsy? Zhou Suhua, standing on the side, nervously wiped her tears. Dr. Wang, is Guobao all right? Dr. Wang didn't speak. He just gave Zhou Suhua a look asking her to stay quiet. Seeing this, Zhou Suhua became even more nervous. Was Yang Guobao beyond help? If that was the case, she was ready to fight Wang Meifeng till the end. To be certain his diagnosis was not flawed, Dr. Wang checked several times before looking up at Wang Meifeng. Can you show me your medicinal prescription from last time? Wang Meifeng nodded and took out her prescription from her bag. After looking for a long time, he found nothing unusual. This prescription, in his view, contained only common ingredients. At most it could be used as a supplement. How could it have the effect of curing epilepsy? Dr. Wang took a deep breath. Looking at Wang Meifeng, he steadied his voice. Are you sure your child wasn't taking any other medicine while he was taking this? Wang Meifeng nodded. I am sure. She personally brewed the medicine. How could there be a mistake? Amazing. Truly amazing, exclaimed Dr. Wang. The ancient medicine of China is truly miraculous. Zhou Suhua blinked, then asked, Dr. Wang, what do you mean? Dr. Wang looked at Zhou Suhua and said, Congratulations to you all. Guobao in your family has been completely cured. He will never have a seizure again. What? Cured? Really cured? Dr. Wang, are you serious? Zhou Suhua nearly thought she was hallucinating. Dr. Wang, looking somewhat annoyed, said, Although I, Wang, am not as skilled as some, I've never lied. If it wasn't for seeing it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed that there was a cure for epilepsy. It seemed there really were people beyond people, and sky beyond sky. Zhou Suhua was overcome with joy, crying as she hugged Yang Guobao, unable to form a single word. Yang Guobao patted Zhou Suhua on the back, comforting her. Grandma, be good. Don't cry. Dr. Wang looked towards Wang Meifeng. Comrade, could you introduce me to the young divine doctor who cured Guobao? I have some medical questions I would like to ask. Dr. Wang was not a blindly arrogant man. Facing a truly skilled doctor, he sincerely wanted to learn and improve his own medical skills. Wang Meifeng smiled and said, I can't make the decision on her behalf. When I get the chance, I'll ask her for you. This matter still had to be agreed upon by Enai Yang. Otherwise, what would it mean to bring Dr. Wang to Enai Yang's home uninvited? Wang Meifeng was not someone who was inconsiderate. Dr. Wang nodded, expressing his understanding. Then what's your phone number? I'll make a note of it. Wang Meifeng wrote her number down for Dr. Wang. After leaving Dr. Wang's clinic, Zhou Suhua was still tear-streaked. She had never imagined that Yang Guobao's disease would truly be cured. Yang Guobao was 7 years old this year. He had been sick for 7 long years, sometimes even falling ill twice a day when it was severe. Because of this, although he was the age to begin school, Yang Guobao had yet to make it. He also didn't have any friends willing to play with him, except for Mo Hudi, who shared the same affliction. As his grandmother, Zhou Suhua was heartbroken every time she thought of these things. Mom, stop crying, the storm is over now, Wang Meifeng comforted. She knew her mother-in-law's temper, and she knew Wang Meifeng was angry because she was worried about Yang Guobao. Zhou Suhua hugged Wang Meifeng, her voice choked with emotion. I'm sorry, Meifeng. I'm sorry for how I treated you and Guobao. If Wang Meifeng had not insisted on taking Yang Guobao for treatment in the countryside, they would have missed the opportunity for his recovery. Speaking of recovery, it really was like a rebirth. This was a new life for Yang Guobao. Every time Zhou Suhua thought about what could have happened if Wang Meifeng had capitulated to her, she felt a wave of fear. Chapter 141, Making Skincare Products. Door-to-door appreciation _4. Thankfully, none of that happened. Thankfully. It was her being too domineering. It was her who had wronged Wang Meifeng and her son. Her domineering nature nearly caused the death of Yang Guobao. I've been a wicked mother-in-law, Meifeng. I'm sorry. I won't be like this anymore. Mom, it's all right, Wang Meifeng continued. I don't blame you. You don't have to speak ill of yourself. Hearing Wang Meifeng say this, Zhou Suhua was moved beyond words. She never thought her daughter-in-law could forgive her. At the moment, her guilt became even deeper. Meifeng, thank you. Zhou Suhua held Wang Meifeng's hand, shedding tears of gratitude. Thank you for forgiving me. Yang Changjing said from the side. Meifeng, me too. I need to apologize to you. I'm not a good father. I failed you and our son. If Wang Meifeng were as weak as him, then Yang Guobao would have been truly hopeless. Thinking about this, Yang Changjing fell into endless self-reproach. You really aren't a good father. Wang Meifeng looked up at Yang Changjing. Guobao and I were in the countryside for so long. Did you visit us once? Write us a letter? Make a single phone call? Ask yourself, what kind of husband are you? What kind of father are you? Her husband was good at everything, but he listened to his mother too much. Whatever Zhou Suhua said, Yang Changjing didn't dare to oppose. All decisions, big and small, were made by Zhou Suhua. Wang Meifeng wasn't someone to be bullied easily. She could let things slide with her mother-in-law, as a senior, but not with her husband. She had to use this opportunity to make Yang Changjing reflect. Hearing this, Yang Changjing hung his head even lower. Zhou Suhua spoke tearfully. Meifeng, don't blame Changjing, it's all my fault. I stopped Changjing from visiting you. Wang Meifeng continued. Mom, don't interfere in this. Changjing is 30 years old, not 3. He should have grown up long ago and be capable of making independent decisions. He can't rely on you for his whole life. What if one day you're not here anymore? Who's he going to rely on then? Upon hearing these words, Zhou Suhua immediately hung her head in shame. Their son was already a married man. She really shouldn't interfere so much. She should give her son and daughter-in-law their own space. With a stern face, Wang Meifeng warned. Yang Changjing, if you continue like this, we should stop living together. Hearing this, Zhou Suhua was about to intervene, but recalling Wang Meifeng's words, she shut her mouth. She would never interfere in her son and daughter-in-law's matters again. Yang Changjing immediately held up 3 fingers, promising, Meifeng, rest assured, I won't do that anymore. From now on, you'll be in charge at home. I will listen to you, and I swear, if you say go east, I will never go west. Wang Meifeng's expression softened a bit. Let's see how you perform. Finally, Yang Changjing sighed with relief. So Meifeng, you forgive me? I already told you, it depends on your performance, Wang Meifeng continued. Let's go home now. Yang Changjing nodded. The 4 of them got into the car. When the car arrived at a big mall, Zhou Suhua said, Changjing, stop for a moment. What's the matter, Mom? Yang Changjing looked back. Do you need to buy something? Zhou Suhua continued. Thanks to the young divine doctor and Yang, Guobao is now healed. We can't forget our benefactor. Tomorrow let's go to Jinghua village personally to thank the young divine doctor and Yang. Right now, Zhou Suhua was most grateful to Yang. She even changed her nickname from the barefoot doctor to the young divine doctor and Yang. Okay. Wang Meifeng nodded in agreement. You're always so thoughtful, Mom. The 4 of them went into the mall. Because Yang had saved Yang Guobao, Zhou Suhua was not worried about spending money. She chose expensive items, including fruit and nutritional supplements. Upon learning that Yang had a little sister who was just over 3 months old, Zhou Suhua spent 980 yuan and bought 2 small gold bracelets and a longevity lock. In addition, Zhou Suhua also bought quite a few things for Guobao's grandparents. It's worth noting that Zhou Suhua used to look down on villages in the past and never treated Guobao's grandparents as if they were her own family. In Zhou Suhua's eyes, she always thought that Wang Meifeng marrying Yang Changjing was marrying above her station. But that would not be the case anymore. From now on, she will strive to be a good mother-in-law, good grandmother. Noticing the change in her mother-in-law, Wang Meifeng suddenly felt that all the grievances she suffered in the past were nothing. The family's courtyard. Yang and Tsuehua were sitting by the well, washing vegetables and chatting. Chapter 142 Making Skincare Products, Home Visit to Thank_5. Little Yin lay in her cradle nearby, holding a rattle and a little yellow duck, playing on her own, neither crying nor being troublesome, behaving very well. The courtyard seemed incredibly warm and cozy. The task of washing 200 pounds of vegetables was time-consuming. By the time Yang finished washing and salting the vegetables, it was already past 5 in the afternoon, and the sun began its descent. Yang then started preparing dinner. When she saw the green peas the boss had given her while buying vegetables earlier, she suddenly had an idea. First she peeled off the peas, scooped up 2 ladles of glutinous rice, washed them, and soaked them in a casserole. Then Yang found the cured meat she had bought a few days ago, cut them into pieces, and sautéed them in a pan. She then added green onions, ginger, garlic, and soy sauce to enhance the flavor, followed by adding the peas and stir-frying them together. Once they were about 70% cooked, she scooped the sautéed cured meat and peas into the casserole with the rice, and finally stove-cooked it to make a rice casserole. This is known as cured meat and green peas casserole rice, a variation of the traditional clay pot rice. After the main course was prepared, Yang began to prepare side dishes. She pulled out the menu. Tonight's main dishes were 1. Stir-fried spicy bamboo shoots. Compendium of Materia Medica states, bamboo shoots are mainly used to quench thirst and benefit the urinary tract. Bamboo shoots can reduce intestinal cholesterol absorption, lower blood lipids, prevent constipation, and effectively eliminate waste and toxins from the body. They are excellent weight loss foods that can effectively maintain perfect body shape. They had eaten a lot of meat these past few days. It's just right to have bamboo shoots to control body shape and prevent weight gain. Beef bone marrow stewed egg. The eggs were those sent by Penghu in the morning, and the beef bone marrow was from the big beef bones Yang bought at the vegetable market yesterday, which were filled with marrow. Compendium of Materia Medica states, beef bone marrow moisturizes the lungs, nourishes the kidneys, moisturizes the skin, and brightens the complexion. Therefore, beef bone marrow can effectively moisturize the skin. After deciding on the 2 main dishes, she only needed to make a soup. When she saw the tofu that Tai Dawn mother had sent over, Yang suddenly thought of vegetable tofu soup. Yes, she decided to make a vegetable tofu soup. Yang immediately rolled up her sleeves and started cooking. The night gradually darkened, and the fragrance in the small kitchen became stronger. In no time, the perfect set of 2 dishes and a soup was ready. And together with the glutinous rice cooked with cured meat and peas, there was more than enough for the 3 of them. Due to the addition of cured meat and peas, the glutinous rice was very delicious. Biting into it, it was soft and sticky, and when you bit into a pea, there was a burst of flavor making it extremely delicious. The vegetable tofu soup balanced out the greasiness of the glutinous rice, so delicious it made one question life. Chenggui exclaimed, Yang, how many delicious foods can you cook? She felt that every dish Yang cooked every day was different, and each dish was staggering in its taste. Even a simple vegetable tofu soup tasted extraordinarily delicious when Yang cooked it. Yang just smiled. Actually, I'm only cooking what I know how to cook. Chenggui said, Yang, I suspect you can cook a Manchu Han imperial feast, but I have no evidence. Yang laughed lightly. No, I just know a little bit more than most people. Chenggui laughed and said, Yang, you are just too modest. Yang held up a piece of bamboo shoot. Modesty is a virtue. Tsuehua jokingly said from the side, Sister Chenggui, don't praise this girl anymore. If you continue to praise her, her little tail will rise to the sky. After dinner, Yang returned to her room and counted the money she had left. Excluding the 25,400 yuan used to buy the shop, the 930 paid to the workers, and the everyday expenses of the last few days, she had 2,550 yuan in total. With 2,550 yuan, besides not being able to buy big items like a fridge or a color TV, she had more than enough to equip her business with the other necessities. Therefore, she was not in a hurry to make money at the moment, planning to spend this month on recuperation and recharge. When the new shop opens, there will be plenty to do. Moreover, she did not expect to make a living solely from selling noodles. Yang has big ambitions, having lived for 2 lifetimes. She either does not do something, or does it to the best. She will blaze a trail, and create a golden era that belongs to Inai Yang. That night, Inai Yang probably had the best sleep since her rebirth. She slept until past 6 in the morning, never getting up at 3 in the morning anymore, unlike her old routine when she had to get up to set up her stall. Meanwhile, Inai Daju and Luwan woke up early, and took a rare day off. Chapter 143 Making Skincare Products. Home Visit to Give Thanks _6. Because today marks the beginning of a new month, it meant that the stall Inai Yang had been renting was now theirs. If Inai Yang wanted to continue her business, she would have to scheme it out of them. All the way there, the smiles never left the faces of the family of 3. Daju, what do you think that bitch Inai Yang's face will look like when she sees us? Inai Daju proudly replied. She must be shocked, and then beg us on her knees to give her stall back. Give it back to her? Luwan scoffed. On what grounds should we return it to her? We are the owners of this stall now. How dare she try and take it away from me? Remember, be tough with her. Make that bitch hand over all her money. If not, tell her to drop dead and disappear. Inai Yang was now destined to be as helpless as a piece of meat on a chopping board. Think she could escape? No way. A lowly bitch from the countryside. Does she think she can turn the tide? Inai Daju nodded in agreement. Don't worry, Wan. I won't mess this up. Lu Wan began to instruct Lu Xiangxiang again. Xiangxiang, remember to be smart when that bitch hands over the money. Make sure not to collect the wrong amount. I've checked already. The pickled fish noodles go for 3 cents a bowl, and the sour plum soup for 1 cent a bowl. Unusually, Lu Xiangxiang didn't argue with Lu Wan. Instead, she obediently said, I've got it, Mom. Don't worry. I won't make a mistake. Do you think I don't put my education to use? Lu Wan nodded in satisfaction. That's my girl. So much better than that bitch. Indeed. Lu Xiangxiang raised her chin proudly and said disdainfully, what does that bumpkin Inai Yang have that can match up to me? Besides being somewhat attractive, Inai Yang was worth nothing. And her? She was going to college. The family of 3 arrived at Inai Yang's usual business spot. But strangely, the stall was vacant. There were no signs of Inai Yang, let alone any people lining up for noodles. That was unexpected. Lu Wan had secretly observed that usually around 5:30, people would start lining up. It was already 5:40. Why was there not a single person in line? Did everyone else wake up late? Lu Wan frowned. Inai Daju didn't take note of these details. He just sat in the middle of the stall, ready to assert his authority over Inai Yang at any moment. Did that bitch think she could outsmart him, her uncle? Bet she's in for a surprise. No matter what, he would always be her uncle. Lu Wan walked over to Inai Daju and shared her observations with him. Hearing this, Inai Daju said casually, what's there to worry about? Do you really think that bitch Inai Yang is good at business and has customers every day? Let's wait a bit longer. Maybe the bitch will show up soon. What Inai Daju said wasn't unreasonable, so Lu Wan nodded in agreement. With each passing minute, it was now past 6 o'clock, but there was still no sign of Inai Yang. Lu Xiangxiang was restless, pacing in circles. Mom, Dad, do you think it's possible that the hillbilly Inai Yang won't show up this morning? No, of course not, Lu Wan reassured. Inai Yang will definitely come. Just then, a few customers showed up. They greeted warmly. Are all of you here for the pickled vegetable noodles too? You probably don't know yet, but the boss won't set up her stall here anymore. Better head back early, or you'll just waste your time waiting. If you're really craving for pickled vegetable noodles, there is another stall over there. Although it doesn't taste as good as the boss, it's still better than nothing, right? The boss won't set up her stall here anymore. She's gone. This news struck the family of 3 like a bolt from the blue. They were dumbfounded and couldn't react for a long time. If Inai Yang won't set up her stall here anymore, then who are they going to get money from? Lu Wan was the first to come to her senses. She grabbed a passerby's arm and asked, Sir, is it true that Inai Yang has stopped doing business here? But she was here just yesterday, wasn't she? The passerby explained. Yesterday was the boss' last day here. But don't worry, you can still have the boss pickled fish noodles, because she will open for business again. Upon hearing this, Luwan let out a sigh of relief and then asked, "So, when exactly will she start her business again?" The passerby continued, "She probably won't come back here. The boss bought a shop opposite the library. She's currently renovating it and plans to reopen on the 2nd of next month." Chapter 144, Making Skincare Products. Home visit to Express thanks _7 and I Young bought a shop. She actually bought a shop. After that, Luwan couldn't hear anything else. She felt a surge of blood to her head, blacked out, and fell unconscious right away. Waner, Mom, and I Daju, frightened, quickly pressed Luwan's Renjong acupoint. After a while, Luwan slowly opened her eyes. The moment she opened her eyes, she started beating and berating Enai Daju. "You damn coward. Why don't you go die? You can't even keep a country bumpkin in check. My money, you have to get my money back right now. 300 yuan. She invested everything she had just to lease this lousy stall. She had originally planned to skin Enai Yang for a big pot of cash, but now, not only did she not get the money, but she also lost 300 yuan instead. Luwan's rage was about to explode. Why did that sneaky Enai Yang go out and buy a shop? At that moment, Luwan was both jealous and green with envy. Her heart was filled with mixed emotions, and she felt extremely miserable. Lu Xiangxiang was also sitting by the side, crying and making a fuss. "My money, I want my money." She had already picked out the clothes and cosmetics she wanted to buy, and had even planned to use the money she took back today to buy a nice-looking wig. Now it all came to nothing. She couldn't accept it. Why did Enai Yang secretly buy a shop behind their backs? Luwan hit hard. Enai Daz's face that had just recovered from bruises was again covered with fresh ones as if spring had come after the rain. Enai Daju didn't dare to complain. He could only curse Enai Yang 1,000 times in his heart. Enai Yang had no idea what happened over here. At this time, she was squatting in the yard brushing her teeth. After brushing her teeth, she noticed a small pimple on her forehead while washing her face. For someone who loves beauty, having pimples is a big deal. It seems that simply relying on nutrition from food isn't enough. Skincare products also need to be used in order to maintain flawless and fair skin. Moreover, winter is coming, and the skin on the face and hands will crack in the cold wind. She needs to take care of her skin. There aren't many skincare products in this era. The most famous one is the snowflake cream, followed by the clam oil packed in shells. The clam oil is affordable, but doesn't provide much skincare benefit. Snowflake cream is too expensive for ordinary people to afford, and some imported skincare products are even more ridiculously priced. Just then, an idea flashed across Enai Yang's mind. She could make her own skincare products. With her previous life experience and medical knowledge, she wasn't afraid of getting poisoned. She thought so and acted immediately. After wiping her face casually, Enai Yang carried a pair of scissors and headed towards the vegetable garden. Apart from vegetables, there are aloe vera and medicinal herbs planted in the garden. Aloe vera has excellent skincare and pimple-drying properties, as well as excellent hydration benefits. Enai Yang planned to make a face wash and aloe gel with aloe vera. The aloe vera grew very well, from originally 3 plants to over a dozen plants now, which were very plump and thick thanks to Enai Quihua's regular watering and fertilizing, appearing forest green and dripping with vigor. Enai Yang snipped a full basket of aloe vera leaves with a kacha sound before heading back. Seeing Enai Yang carrying back aloe leaves, Enai Chengue exclaimed surprisingly, "No way, Yang. Can these aloe leaves be eaten too?" Because Enai Yang's culinary skills are really good. This causes Enai Chengue to immediately think of food whenever he sees Enai Yang carrying anything. Enai Yang smiled and said, "No, I plan to use it to make facial cleanser and aloe vera gel." Facial cleanser? Enai Chengue asked curiously. "Is it a type of milk drink?" "No, you can't drink it," Enai Yang explained. "It's for washing your face, cleansing your skin." "Oh." Enai Chengue nodded his head in semi-understanding. "Then what is aloe vera gel? Is it also for washing your face?" Enai Chengue continued asking. "Aloe vera gel is for applying to your face. It has acne-removing and hydrating effects." Enai Yang continued. "Once I've made it, Auntie and you can try it and you'll know." Excitement immediately appeared in Inai Chenggui's eyes. The process of making a facial cleanser is not complicated. First, wash the aloe and peel it, then place it in a mortar and mash it. Following that, gradually mix in a spoonful of honey and half a cup of milk to form a milky substance. Because there was no milk at home, Inai Yang specially went to Zayawa's house in the village, which had dairy cows, to buy a can of milk. But Zayawa's grandmother was insistent on not taking money. Inai Yang laughed and said, "Granny, if you're not taking the money, I won't dare to come to your house to buy milk next time. Our village is so far from the city. Do you really want to see me running all the way there?" Helpless, Zayawa's grandmother finally took the money, but instantly asked Xiaohua to send over a basket of homemade vermicelli. Xiaohua squatted next to Inai Yang and curiously asked, "Sister Inai Yang, what are you doing?" Inai Yang explained to Xiaohua about the facial cleanser and aloe vera gel. After hearing the explanation, Xiaohua exclaimed in surprise, "Sister Inai Yang, you're so amazing." Soon the facial cleanser was ready. Next up was the production of the aloe vera gel. The production of aloe vera gel is also quite simple. Just peel the aloe and slice it, then mash it into pulp. However, if you want the aloe vera gel to be more effective, you need to add some distilled water. But making distilled water isn't that simple. Therefore, Inai Yang kept busy until after 9 o'clock before she managed to make the aloe vera gel. After making the facial cleanser and aloe vera gel, Inai Yang tried them out. The facial cleanser even foamed up well, and the effects were fantastic. After washing, she could see that her skin had become significantly smoother. After applying the aloe vera gel to her face, it was absorbed very quickly. In no time, the color of the pimples on Inai Yang's face started to fade substantially. When Xiaohua was leaving, Inai Yang filled some small jam jars with aloe vera gel and facial cleanser for Xiaohua to take home for her mother to use. Xiaohua responded politely, "Thank you for the facial cleanser and aloe vera gel, Sister Inai Yang. My mom will definitely like them." Inai Yang smiled and asked, "You know how to use them, right?" Xiaohua nodded. "Don't worry, Sister Inai Yang. I understand." Xiaohua was clever after all, and had just watched Inai Yang do everything from the side. How could she possibly not know? After seeing Xiaohua off, Inai Yang turned back to the room to let Inai Tsuehua try the aloe vera gel and facial cleanser, when suddenly, there were footsteps outside the door. "Yang, is Yang home?" Then came Yang Gobeo's voice, "Sister Inai Yang, am here." Inai Yang stepped out and saw that it was Wang Meifeng and Yang Guobao who had come. Behind the mother and son were a party of 3, 2 elderly and 1 young, carrying big and small bags of things. Auntie Wang Guobao. Inai Yang greeted them with a smile. Wang Meifeng followed up. Yang, let me introduce you. These are Gobeo's grandparents and this is my husband, Yang Changjung. Dad, Mum Changjung, this is Inai Yang, the young divine doctor who cured Guobao. Although Zhou Suhua had known that Inai Yang was very young, she was still very shocked after seeing Inai Yang in person. Moreover, she couldn't have imagined that Inai Yang was this beautiful. She could be a movie star. This temperament, this appearance, if you said she was from the countryside, people might not believe it. Young divine doctor, thank you for curing our Guobao. You are our young family's living bodhisattva, thank you. Zhou Suhua grabbed Inai Yang's hand, her speech becoming incoherent out of excitement. Chapter 145 Another Source of Wealth. Inai Dezhu goes to prison. Inai Yang smiled and said, "You don't have to be like this. Saving lives as a doctor is our responsibility. As for being a divine doctor, I dare not claim to be one. There are too many people in China who have far superior medical skills than me." Her voice was gentle and filled with a light smile. There was no arrogance or self-complacency in her expression. Neither was there a smug satisfaction from curing a stubborn illness. Instead, she was humble and content, giving people a very comfortable feeling upon looking at her. Zhou Suhua looked at Inai Yang, her face full of smiles. Inai Yang continued, "We shouldn't stand here, let's go inside." Behind her, Yang Dahai and Yang Changjing entered the house carrying bundles. The house was a simple countryside abode, without any valuable furniture. The simple tables and stools showed its neatness, making it feel very warm and cozy. The air was filled with a faint scent of magnolia. Zhou Suhua followed the scent and saw a dried magnolia flower on the windowsill. The dried magnolia was not as bright as when it was fresh, but it was still beautiful. She didn't know what methods the owner used to preserve the fresh magnolia flower in this manner, but it reflected the owner's elegant character. Although the life seemed frugal, it had a high degree of ritual feeling, and this feeling was just great. Anai Yang was busy brewing tea for everyone. At this moment, Anai Tsuehua came out from the inner room carrying the child. When she saw the people in the room, she was slightly startled. Anai Yang promptly introduced everyone to Anai Tsuehua. "Mom, these are Gobeo's grandparents and his father." Anai Tsuehua then reacted and greeted everyone with a smile. Anai Tsuehua no longer carried the inferiority complex from 3 months ago when she first came to the city. In its place was a deep-seated sense of confidence. She was completely different from before. Zhou Suhua held Anai Kuihua's hand and said, "Yang Yang's mother, you have raised an amazing daughter. If it weren't for her, where would our Guobao be now?" Anai Tsuehua replied modestly, "Grandma Guobao, you don't have to be so polite. Our Yang Yang hasn't really done much. She just wrote a prescription." Anai Tsuehua is a very honest person. Although she was proud of her daughter in her heart, she didn't think this merited a grand visit from the Yang family to show their gratitude. After all, saving lives is a good deed that accumulates virtue, and it's not something to show off. Despite being just a prescription, it did save the life of Yang Guobao. Zhou Suhua was extremely grateful to Anai Yang, and also came to a realization. No wonder Anai Yang was so mature and understanding at her young age. It turned out that she had a good mother who taught by example. Anai Yang brought the freshly brewed tea to everyone. Zhou Suhua and Yang Dahai took a sip. The couple exchanged glances, their eyes filled with disbelief. This tea was different from ordinary tea. Not only did it have a refreshing tea fragrance, but upon careful tasting, there was a sweet fruity flavor mixed in. It was refreshing and sweet, quenching thirst, and the aftertaste was endless. Yang Dahai, who had been professionally tasting tea for over 20 years, has never tasted such excellent tea. "Little divine doctor, what kind of tea is this?" Seeing his father's excitement, Yang Changjing immediately picked up his cup and took a sip. Indeed, the taste of the tea was truly astonishing. Even he, someone who didn't usually drink tea, found it incredibly pleasing to the palate, and Yang Changjing could not help but take another big gulp. Anai Yang continued, "It's just ordinary green tea. However, when I was roasting the tea leaves, I added some dried tangerine peels and dried fruits. That's why it has a fruity flavor that ordinary tea leaves don't have." Yang Dahai nodded. "No wonder I felt a fruity taste when I tried it. Little divine doctor, you are truly remarkable." It should be noted that roasting tea leaves is not something an ordinary person can do. Not only does it require control over the heat, but it also demands certain skills. Otherwise, the tea leaves could be overcooked or burnt, affecting the taste. But the taste of this tea was just right. Without a solid 10 or more years of experience, it would be impossible to roast such tea leaves. Moreover, Anai Yang had added other things to the tea, making it even harder to roast. Yang Guobao immediately stood up, raised his adorable little head, and said proudly, "That's right. Grandpa, my sister Anai Yang is amazing. She knows how to do everything." In Yang Guobao's heart, Anai Yang was like a talented little fairy. Not only was she pretty, but she also had medical skills, could cook, bake bread, and even roast tea leaves. What to do? He was starting to like Sister Anai Yang even more. Chapter 146. Another source of wealth. Anai Dezhu goes to prison _2. Zhou Suhua took little Anai Yun from Anai Kuihua's arms. "What a cute child she is. What's her name?" "Her name is Anai Yun, Yun as in cloud," Anai Tsuehua said. "Yun, little Yun. Not only does little Yun have a pretty name, but she's also very beautiful," Zhou Suhua, who was very fond of little Anai Yun, said with her eyes full of affectionate smiles. "Oh yes, we also brought a welcome gift for little Yun. Meifeng, quickly bring out the gift." Wang Meifeng immediately took out a red gift box from her bag. In the box were a longevity lock and 2 gold bracelets. "These gold jewelry must cost at least 1,000 yuan, said Anai Tsuehua nervously. "Grandma Guobao, You really don't need to be so polite. We can't accept such a big gift. You should accept. Zhou Suhua smiled. It's not something valuable, Enai Yang's mom. Enai Yang is a living bodhisattva to our entire family. You must not refuse. Look how pretty our little Yun looks wearing these. Little Enai Yun, with her fair and plump appearance, was extremely likable. Now, with the gold bracelets and the longevity lock, she looked like a delightful Fua doll that had stepped out of a New Year's painting. The gold bracelet came with a small bell. Whenever little Enai Yun moved, the bell would tinkle, producing a pleasant sound that lifted everyone's spirits. While Enai Tsuehua was entertaining the guests in the living room, Enai Yang went into the kitchen to cook. It was past 10 now. By the time she finished cooking, it would be almost noon, just in time for lunch. She planned to cook sour fish, braised pork belly, spicy fried river snails, and a roasted chicken as the main courses. As for the side dishes, she would make black fungus with milk cabbage, and stir-fried cabbage with vermicelli. The vermicelli was a gift from Xiaohua. It was homemade and not only healthy and free of pollution, but also had a great texture. She would also prepare a cold mixed liangpi as a chilled dish. Enai Yang looked and found a chunk of tofu left over from what Taidan mother had given her the day before. She decided to make shrimp and tofu soup with it. Meat and vegetables are paired well, with fish, meat, and chicken all included. Although there are only 7 dishes in one soup, it is an incredibly sumptuous meal for the average person during this era. Once the menu was finalized, Enai Yang started the bread oven, and then went to slaughter the big rooster they had bought the day before. Although Enai Yang looked fair and pretty as a girl, she was very decisive when it came to slaughtering the chicken. With one hand holding the chicken and the other holding the kitchen knife, the scene was somewhat bloody, but it gave a sense of tranquility. Wang Meifeng came over to help Enai Yang pluck the chicken's feathers. Enai Yang grinned and said, "Auntie Wang, you don't need to help, I can handle it myself." Wang Meifeng laughed and said, "Not a problem, I'm free." It wouldn't be fair for them all to idle around, while Enai Yang had to cook the meal by herself. Having grown up in the village, Wang Meifeng, even though she had later moved to the city, was still quite proficient in these chores. She quickly finished plucking the chicken feathers, then washed the chicken, and went on to clean the other vegetables. Despite Enai Yang's efforts to stop her, she carried on. After washing the vegetables, Wang Meifeng sat down by the stove to start the fire. The flame reflected in Wang Meifeng's smiling face, while the sound of stir-frying and the delicious aroma began to fill the kitchen. Despite having eaten Enai Yang's cooking before, Wang Meifeng couldn't help but be amazed. She was truly amazing. Despite being only 17, Enai Yang was already far superior to many adults. She was truly a lady who was equally proficient in the affairs of the hall and the kitchen. Around noon, Enai Yang had perfectly prepared the 7 dishes with one soup. The dining room table was filled with constant exclamations of admiration. "Delicious. The taste is spot on. Little divine doctor, you're so amazing." Zhou Suhua had never imagined that even river snails could be cooked to be so tasty. After all, they were usually used as duck feed. The braised pork belly was sweet and fragrant, tender and rich but not greasy, melting in the mouth. The roasted chicken was incredibly crispy, baked to perfection with a tender inside, and each bite resulted in a delicious burst of flavor. Of all, the most outstanding one was the sour fish. The cuttlefish was coated with starch and egg liquid, which made it tender, refreshing, appetizing, and perfect for eating with rice. Combined with the sour and spicy taste of pickled cabbage and hot pepper, it was mouth-wateringly good. After finishing the fish, one would surely crave to drink all the soup. Even at a fancy restaurant, it would be hard to find such delicious dishes. Who would have thought that a beautiful young girl with impressive medical skills can cook so well too? The taste was simply astonishing. "Little divine doctor, how did you roast this chicken?" Yang Changjin curiously inquired. He didn't see any grill in the house, and since the chicken was served hot, it couldn't have been bought. Moreover, things like roasted chicken or duck were in short supply and hard to find. Chapter 147 Another Source of Wealth. Enai Deju goes to prison _3. Enai Yang explained. It was baked in an outdoor bread oven. A bread oven? Yang Changjung stood up and asked. Could I see it? Of course. Yang nodded. Seeing Yang nod, Guobao excitedly said, "Dad'll show you. Yang and I built this bread oven together." Guobao led Yang Changjing to the courtyard. The bread oven was located in the corner of the yard. It wasn't large and was shaped like a bear's head. Below it, dry logs were stacked. On the left side of the bear head, two little figures were drawn with the words, "Summer 1983, Sister and Guobao" beside them. The first few words were written boldly, the latter few somewhat childish. Yet combined, they were not incongruous but rather endearingly artistic. "This bread oven was personally made by your sister and Yang?" Yang Changjing asked in disbelief. Guobao nodded. "Yes. Yang is incredibly talented. Dad, let me tell you, this bread oven is amazing too. It can not only roast chicken but also bake bread and dry fruit." Thinking about all the food, Guobao's eyes sparkled. Hearing this, Yang Changjing was full of awe. Actually, this was not his first encounter with a bread oven. He had seen them during his overseas business trips, as bread ovens produce superior results compared to conventional ovens. Hence, they are common in foreign households. However, this was the first time he had seen a bread oven in his own country. Making a bread oven may seem simple, but it is actually complex and requires professional skills. He couldn't imagine how a young girl like Yang managed to build this. This young girl was far stronger than she appeared on the surface. Even Yang Changjing, an adult, felt he couldn't compare. Having spent over 3 months in the countryside, Guobao was familiar with the surroundings. He took Yang Changjing around for a stroll, and after a while, their grandfather Yang Dahai also came out. In the living room, the women were engaged in a lively conversation. Zhou Suhua, being a leader in her workplace before retiring, was not as easygoing as ordinary people. What surprised Wang Meifeng was how well she got along with Enai Tsuehua. Indeed, it must be fate. Yang was sipping tea, the steam curling around her flawless skin, causing Wang Meifeng to envy her. "Yang, your skin is so good. Unlike mine, which is always acting up during this season." Yang laughed shyly, noticing a few red spots on Wang Meifeng's face. She advised, "Aunt Wang, I think you have dry skin. The spots could have been caused by inappropriate skin care products. Be sure to hydrate your skin." Wang Meifeng replied, "My skin has always been like this. It gets extremely dry in winter and easily breaks out in small bumps." Speaking of skin issues, Wang Meifeng indeed felt frustrated. She had tried numerous skin care products, both domestic and imported, but to no avail. In fact, some even aggravated her condition. Right now, during early autumn, the problem wasn't so apparent. But by late autumn and winter, her face would be covered with dry skin and red spots. Not a pretty sight. So every time autumn and winter rolled around, Wang Meifeng wouldn't feel like stepping out, let alone going to work. "Aunt Wang, please wait a moment." Yang suddenly stood up and walked toward the house. Wang Meifeng was puzzled. In a short while, Yang returned, holding 2 small white porcelain jars. "Aunt, try these. I made them myself. This one is for washing your face, and this one is for applying." The small porcelain containers were originally for storing pills, but Yang couldn't find suitable containers for her face wash and aloe vera gel, so she improvised using the small jars. "For washing face?" Wang Meifeng curiously asked, "Is it face powder?" In that era, face wash hadn't been invented yet, but face powder, for instance, one produced by Haidu, a 4-in-1 face powder, was quite famous. Wang Meifeng had used it before, but it didn't work for her. Yang explained with a smile, "It's a face wash. You use it just like a face powder, but its effectiveness is superior, especially for your dry skin type." Chapter 148. Another source of wealth. Enai Deju goes to prison _4. In her previous life, Yang was also a beauty enthusiast who put a lot of work into her skincare. She could instantly identify any skin issues. Wang Meifeng opened the lid of the porcelain jar and took a sniff. It faintly smelled lovely with a hint of milk. No wonder it was called a cleansing milk. "And this one?" asked Wang Meifeng. "This is aloe vera gel," Yang continued. "You apply it on your face after washing with the cleansing milk." Wang Meifeng nodded and smilingly put the 2 little jars away. Yang, I want stand on ceremony then." Every heart has a love for beauty. And I Yang is so capable. The things she produced must not be bad. What if they really worked? And I Yang smiled and said, no need for that. Time flew by, and soon it was past 3 in the afternoon. And Wang Meifeng and the others proposed their farewells. Because Yang Changjing really liked the tea leaves that Anai Yang had fried, she packed a large bucket of tea leaves for them. Chinese are polite and reciprocate kindness, and Anai Yang couldn't let them return empty-handed. Initially, Yang Dahai wouldn't accept it. They were treated well here by Anai Yang, and she was also so polite and not arrogant like a divine doctor at all. How could they accept her things? Don't underestimate the tea. Frying it takes a fair amount of time. But Anai Yang insisted again and again. Grandpa Yang, you brought so many gifts. This is just a small gesture from me. If you don't accept it, I might not welcome you next time to our house as a guest. Upon hearing this, Yang Dahai had no choice but to accept the tea. In that case, I'll accept it gratefully. Little divine doctor, we are all friends now. You must bring your mother and sister to our home sometime, and get familiar with the place. Anai Yang nodded. Sure, Grandpa Yang, I'll definitely come over when I have the chance. Yang Dahai looked at Anai Yang with admiration in his eyes. This little girl was really understanding. If it was his granddaughter, he would wake up laughing even from a dream. Goodbye, Sister Anai Yang, Aunt Hua. Remember to visit my house when you have time. Anai Yang nodded, waving at Yang Gubao. Goodbye, Gubao. On the other side, after Anai Daju and Luan went back, they still felt unsatisfied. They were so upset they couldn't eat or drink. They had spent 300 yuan to rent that stall. 300 yuan. That's a year's worth of their hard-earned savings. No, they can't just lose 300 yuan like this. When Anai Yang was buying the shop, did she ask for Anai Dazu's permission? Anai Tsuehua doesn't have a man now. Anai Daju is the only man in the Anai family. It should be Anai Daju who makes decisions for the Anai family. Buying a shop must also get the approval of Anai Daju, the head of the family. The more Luan thought about it, the more she felt it was right. She looked at Anai Daju and said, go and demand the money from that bitch Anai Yang right now. Anai Daju sighed. Wan, or let it go. Let's just live our lives peacefully. Even if Anai Yang has money, she's just a lowly self-employed person. We're a proud working-class family. How can she compare? They went to Anai Yang twice. The first time they were beaten half to dead by the kids in Jinghua village. The second time they directly lost 300 yuan. Anai Daju was truly scared. Give up. Luan shouted angrily. Anai Daju, you are such a coward. How can you let this matter slide just like this? Anai Yang doesn't have a father, and Anai Tsuehua doesn't have a man. You are the only man in the Anai family now. It's justified that Anai Yang gives you money. Go now. Where do I go to ask for money? Wan, or have you forgotten what happened to us in Jinghua village? Anai Daju asked. Although what Luan said made sense, Anai Daju, not fully recovered from his injuries, was still deeply afraid of Jinghua village. Go to the new shop that bitch just bought. Luan continued. Demand that she gives us at least 10,000 yuan every month. If she refuses, smash her shop and ruin her business. If Anai Yang won't let them live comfortably, they won't let Anai Yang live comfortably either. If worst comes to worst, they'll fight till the bitter end. She doesn't want to give the money? No way. Luan gritted her teeth and said. When you get there, don't initiate a fight, just smash stuff, don't let them decorate the shop. Hopefully, 'cause a whole lot of commotion. If she dares to hit you this time, don't fight back, let her hit you. If she really causes any harm, our whole family will squat in her shop and let her take care of you in your old age. Well, drag till she collapses. Chapter 149, Another Source of Wealth. Anai Daju goes to prison _5. It's exceedingly hard for even government officials to resolve domestic disputes. Anai Yang's going to try reasoning with them? Impossible. And this time is different from before in Jinghua village, where she had the villagers on her side. Now in the city, who could help her? At this, Anai Dazu's eyes lit up. Wan, you're truly ingenious. Luan proudly smiled and said, Of course I am. Anai Daju added. Then I'll go there tomorrow morning. All right. Luan nodded. I'll come with you. The next morning, Inai Daju and Lu Wan went to Inai Yang's newly purchased shop. Upon their arrival, workers were busy renovating the place. Without uttering a word, Inai Daju snatched a wall-scraping knife from a worker's hand and flung it onto the ground, scattering the sand and cement across the entire room. Instantaneously, the place descended into chaos. Lu Wan planted herself on the floor, causing a scene by crying and cursing Inai Yang for being heartless. "Who are you?" One of the workers grabbed Inai Dazu's wrist and angrily asked, "What do you think you're doing?" The other workers rolled up their sleeves, ready to fight. "Dare to cause trouble here at Inai Yang's place? Are they tired of living?" Inai Daju replied. "Who am I? I'm Inai Yang's uncle, the owner of this shop. Where is Inai Yang? Tell that bitch to come and see me." "Inai Yang's uncle?" Upon hearing this, Wang Jinfang immediately started cursing. "You shameless beasts, birthed but not raised by a mother. Haven't you disgraced yourself enough in Jinghua village? Now you're here to do it again?" When it comes to cursing, Wang Jinfang is a master. She is capable of 100 unique insults, each disgustingly unique. Inai Yang and Wang Tiniu were inside discussing renovation plans. Inside Twitter, when they heard the commotion outside, they both quickly rushed out. Seeing that Inai Daju was the one causing the chaos, Inai Yang stayed calm. She held back an infuriated Wang Tiniu and whispered, "Uncle Tiniu, let them make a scene. The bigger the better. Please tell Aunt Jinfang not to interfere. And could you also make a trip to the police station? Inai Daju cannot carry on like this. There must be an end to this matter." Inai Yang was profoundly relieved that this incident drama didn't take place on the day of opening. Wouldn't that be a disaster? Hearing this, Wang Tiniu instantly understood Inai Yang's intention and immediately ran outside. He whispered something to Wang Jinfang, who was about to roll up her sleeves and confront the pair. Wang Jinfang then chuckled and reluctantly let down her sleeve. After speaking, Wang Tiniu quietly left the shop, while Wang Jinfang relayed Wang Tinius' words to the others at a low volume. Oblivious to the situation, the others carried on with their work, paying no mind to Inai Daju. Upon seeing this, Inai Daju assumed that they were scared by his relation to Inai Yang, and grown even more arrogant. He rolled up his sleeves and smashed everything in sight to smithereens. Once the chaos outside had escalated to a reasonable degree, Inai Yang calmly stepped out. "Inai Daju, what on earth are you doing?" Inai Yang asked, enraged. "Do you not realize that your actions are illegal?" "Illegal?" Inai Daju arrogantly responded. "How could it be illegal to destroy one's own property? Bitch, since you've disowned us, don't blame us for being ruthless. If you don't give us money today, don't dream of renovating this shop." His own property? Inai Yang subtly smirked. How brazen of Inai Daju to make such a claim. How disgusting. Inai Yang looked at the entrance and continued. "How much are you trying to extort from me?" This ungrateful bitch Inai Yang is finally scared. If she had acted like this sooner, wouldn't there be much less trouble? Inai Daju ignored Inai Yang's words. Brimming with confidence, he said, 10,000. And you will have to give us 10,000 yuan every month from now on. Just thinking about becoming a man of 10,000 yuan made Inai Daju ecstatic. That's extortion. It's hooligan behavior. Inai Yang retorted righteously. Isn't there any law in your eyes? Inai Daju then arrogantly replied. In the Inai family, I am the law. If you don't pay me today, I'll tear this shabby shop apart. I'll make sure you can't do business. He's the law? That's quite ambitious. As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Tiniu led several policemen into the shop in single file. And everything that Inai Daju shamelessly claimed was heard by the police. Officer, Wang Tiniu pointed at Inai Daju and Lu Wan. It's them. They're causing trouble, extorting money. They've even destroyed so many things here. Chapter 150 Another Source of Wealth. Inai Daju goes to prison _6. Inai Daju and Lu Wan were stunned. They didn't expect the police to suddenly show up. The cold steel handcuffs were placed directly on Lu Wan and Inai Daju. You two are currently suspected of damaging private finances, provoking troubles, and extortion crimes. Please come with us immediately. During the crackdown, if these charges were confirmed, they would face prison. Lu Wan cried for innocence. Officers, it's a misunderstanding. We didn't do anything wrong. It was just a family dispute. This girl, Enai Yang, my husband Enai Daju, is her uncle. We were just having fun with her. Uncle? An uncle can commit extortion? Stir up troubles? Damage others' property? Do you have no respect for the law anymore? Framed. Just horsing around? Made such a mess of somebody's store and still have the nerve to claim it was a form of entertainment? Really thought them, the police, as blind and deaf? Enai Yang came forward and said, Officers, my name is Enai Yang, the owner of this shop. My mom was an orphan since she was young. She doesn't have any siblings at all. This person probably just grew up with my mom, but he's certainly not my uncle. Enai Dazu's original household registration had long been revoked and transferred to Lu Wan, while Enai Tsuehua also has an independent household registration, and there is no blood relationship between Enai Daju and Enai Tsuehua. It would be challenging to prove that they are siblings. The lead police officer nodded. Comrade Enai Yang, please rest assured we the People's Police will bring justice to this case. Thank you, officers. Lu Wan was so angry that she cursed. You little wench, Enai Yang. You don't even recognize your own uncle. Do you have a conscience? You're going to be punished by heaven one day. Enai Yang was unfazed and turned to the police officer. Officer, is insulting someone considered illegal? It is, the police officer nodded. According to our country's Security Administration Punishment Law, Article 10 states the penalty for security administration violation. Before the police officer finished, Lu Wan was so scared that she shut her mouth. Such a bitch. Lu Wan was so angry that she almost passed out. After collecting evidence and making records, the police took Enai Daju and Lu Wan away in their police car. 3 days later, news came from the police station. Enai Daju was sentenced to 5 years in prison for extortion and provoking troubles, while Lu Wan, being a participant in the crime, was fined 2 yuan and detained for 15 days. Not only that, Lu Wan also has to compensate Enai Yang for the damaged finances. As evaluated, the compensation was 50 yuan. Lu Wan's younger brother Lu Chang came to bail her out. As soon as Lu Wan saw Lu Chang, she started crying. She never imagined that the situation would have turned out like this. Not only did she lose her money, but now her husband was also taken away. All right, sister. Stop crying. Lu Chang advised. I've told you before, Enai Daju is too wimpy for you. It's good that this happened. Well, go to the court and file for divorce tomorrow. You are still young and can find someone 100 times better than Enai Daju. Lu Wan is not only beautiful, she also has a great figure and a city residence registration. Many people at the factory have been envying her. Previously, it was to Enai Dazu's advantage. Hearing this, Lu Wan felt a bit better. She nodded and said, All right, Xiangzi, I'll listen to you. When Enai Yang received the 50 yuan sent by the police and learned about Enai Dazu's final outcome, she sighed in relief. She had finally eliminated a significant problem. As for Enai Daju, he deserved what he got and was not worth sympathizing. Lu Wan got off easy, only detained for 15 days. She should be locked up for 10 to 15 years. When Enai Yang got home, she told Enai Tsuehua about it. Enai Tsuehua, hearing the news, didn't react much and replied with a smile. Before, I was worried about them causing trouble at the store. Now I can finally stop worrying. Seeing Enai Tsuehua like this, Enai Yang finally let go completely. After Wang Meifeng returned home, she tried the facial cleanser and aloe gel that Enai Yang gave her out of curiosity. To her surprise, they worked incredibly well. Not only had the bumps and dry skin on her face completely disappeared, but her skin had also become extremely smooth. The change was very noticeable and made her co-workers very envious. Meifeng, what skincare products have you been using lately? Your skin looks so good. Recommend it to me too. Chapter 151, Another Source of Wealth. Enai Daju goes to prison? Yes, recommend it to us too, will you? You cannot keep a good thing to yourself. If one is beautiful, everyone should be. That is right. Wang Meifeng works for a foreign company, and her colleagues are not money-starved. Seeing that the cosmetics made by Enai Yang are so popular, she is also delighted. Maybe she can help Anai Yang unintentionally. Wang Meifeng mysteriously said. I use facial cleanser and aloe vera gel myself, but these two things cannot be bought outside. They were developed by a highly reputed divine doctor. The same one who cured my son's epilepsy. What Wang Meifeng said was true because in her eyes, Anai Yang was a capable divine doctor. Really? Doctors can make skincare products too? Someone expressed doubt. Wang Meifeng smiled and said, Is it true or false? Can't you guys tell? You all know what my face looked like in autumn before. For this face, I have detoured many paths and wasted a lot of money. Luckily, one met that divine doctor. Hearing this, her co-workers all nodded and agreed. They had been colleagues with Wang Meifeng for several years. They knew too well what her circumstances were before. Moreover, Wang Meifeng has always been very friendly, so she shouldn't cheat people. Meifeng, how much did you pay for these two things? Can you buy one on my behalf from the divine doctor? Wang Meifeng continued. I'm not very clear about the specific price because the divine doctor offered me a sample to try. If you really want it, I will help you ask him when the time comes. It's not just about asking, I really want to buy it. Meifeng, how about you bring me two as long as it doesn't exceed Lu Yuan? No woman does not cherish beauty. In any era, women are never miser when it comes to their faces. If the effect is as good as Wang Meifeng said, it would be worth it even if it is 200 yuan. I want it too. Bring me one too. Me too. Wang Meifeng took out paper and pen. Don't rush one by one, I'll note it down for you. But one have to make it clear to you all, I don't know if the divine doctor will sell these, so better not keep your hopes too high. Alright, as long as you help us ask, it's enough. Wang Meifeng also has a quick temper. She took leave the next day, and went to Anai Yang. After Anai Yang heard about this, she was surprised and said, Are the facial cleanser and aloe vera gel really that popular? Wang Meifeng laughed and said, Well, indeed they are. Look, these are all the people who want me to bring facial cleanser and aloe vera gel for them. Anai Yang looked over. There were as many as 15 people on the list. This was far beyond Anai Yang's expectation. She didn't expect that her unintentional acts could be so helpful. Maybe this method could also be a way for her to make money. What do you think, Yang? Do you want to sell it? Wang Meifeng asked in succession. Anai Yang laughed and said, Sell. Of course sell. However, Aunt Wang, one don't have ready-made cleansers and aloe vera gel at hand. How about one make some and deliver them to you the day after tomorrow? Okay. Wang Meifeng nodded and continued. So, how much are you selling these two products for? One will go back and tell them. After all, skincare products are used on the face. If it's too cheap, it will inevitably raise doubts and distrust. Moreover, the natural materials and labor used by Anai Yang would undermine profits if sold too cheaply. No one would make things without profit. Anai Yang continued. The facial cleanser would be 15 yuan per bottle and the aloe vera gel 20. Upon hearing this, Wang Meifeng was surprised and said, Yang, are you sure you want to sell it at such a cheap price? She had earlier bought some skincare products, each costing over 30 yuan, and the effect was not good. Anai Yang nodded. The prices will be set tentatively like this. For Anai Yang, this price was already quite high. If she could cement a place in the market and keep the sales steady, it would earn much more than selling pickled vegetable noodles. Wang Meifeng nodded. Okay, then I will go back and share this good news with everyone. Wait a minute, Aunt Wang. Anai Yang called out to Wang Meifeng's retreating figure. Wang Meifeng stopped. Anai Yang turned around and walked into the house. After a moment, she handed over the remaining cleanser and aloe vera gel in her home to Wang Meifeng. Here, take this. Wang Meifeng took the cleanser and aloe vera gel, took out money from her bag, and handed it to Anai Yang. She had already taken it for free once. She certainly couldn't take it for free this time. Anai Yang smiled and declined. Aunt Wang, don't you treat me this way, it's disparaging. You helped me so much this time. According to reason, I should be paying you for promotion. Wang Meifeng laughed and said, Yang, by saying this, you are treating me as an outsider. If such good skincare products are available, even if one didn't know you, I will help with the promotion. Good things should be shared by everyone, right? How can it be exclusive only for me? And I Yang said further. If you really treat me as one of your own, stop talking about money and put it back. With no other choice, Wang Meifeng had to take her money back. After sending Wang Meifeng away, and I Yang greeted Enai Tsuehua and rode her bicycle to the market. Now that she has decided to sell cosmetics, of course, she needs to be prepared with the right containers. The bottles for skincare products don't need to be fancy, plain-looking ones will do. So Enai Yang chose transparent glass bottles. The bottle cap was made of wood and looked very refreshing. If this path can be followed successfully, Enai Yang plans to customize a batch of exclusive bottles from the factory in the future. After buying the bottles, Enai Yang went to buy equipment for making distilled water. All these things cost her a total of 15 yuan. After returning home, Enai Yang bought a large bucket of fresh milk from Zaiwa's home. Fresh milk is not expensive. A large bucket weighing 5 kilograms costs only 5 yuan. 5 kilograms can make a lot of facial cleanser. After preparing all the things, Enai Yang began to peel the aloe vera. Enai Tsuehua came over and said, Yang, let me help you. Just remove the skin of the aloe vera and slice it, right? Enai Yang looked up and said, Mom, you don't need to help here. You can take care of my sister. Enai Tsuehua said, No problem, your sister is asleep. The mother and daughter worked together, and the work efficiency was much higher. In a short while a large amount of aloe vera was peeled. At the Mo family. These days, Mo Huti's condition has become more and more serious, and old lady Mo is increasingly anxious. She hopes to see the divine doctor from Jiangnan who was mentioned by Li Xianxian. However, the divine doctor from Jiangnan has not yet appeared. Seeing Mo Huti's painful appearance, old lady Mo couldn't help crying. At this time, a servant's voice echoed in the room. Old lady, Miss Xianxian is here. Xianxian is here. Old lady Mo's dim eyes instantly filled with hope. Chapter 152. Smartly slapping the face. Never give up treatmenty. Li Xianxian looks stunning today, dressed in a white lace pattern top and a form-fitting black pencil skirt. Her long black hair was dyed to a honey brown and styled in large curls that tumbled over her shoulders, giving her a mature and sexy look. She was at the forefront of fashion, far ahead of anyone in this era. Now everyone in her circle and her classmates were emulating Li Xianxian's style. Grandma, how has Xiaodai been doing recently? Li Xianxian approached and asked with concern. Madame Mo sighed deeply. Don't worry, Grandma. Li Xianxian walked over, resting her hand on Madame Mo's shoulder. I came here today to bring you good news. Good news? Madame Mo turned to look at Li Xianxian. Have we heard from the divine doctor of Jiangnan? The divine doctor of Jiangnan was Madame Mo's only hope. Li Xianxian nodded. Yes, the medicine sent by the divine doctor has arrived. Really? Madame Mo gasped in surprise. Yes, Li Xianxian nodded. Why would I lie to you? Look, this is it. With that, Li Xianxian pulled out 2 small red porcelain bottles from her bag. Grandma, this medicine needs to be taken 3 times a day, 1 pill each time. In less than 3 days, Xiaodai will improve. Once Xiaodai gradually recovers, we can have the divine doctor come over for a follow-up visit. All right, Madame Mo nodded, her face filled with gratitude. Xianxian, on behalf of Xiaodai, thank you. You are truly a benefactor to our Mo family. As she spoke, Madame Mo burst into tears. Li Xianxian quickly comforted her. Grandma, don't say that. I can't take credit for it. I'm just a go-between. Although she said she was just a go-between, not anyone could manage this feat. The divine doctor of Jiangnan was renowned for his exceptional medical skills and eccentric personality, and he usually refused patients with the surnames Yang and Mo. Who else could persuade him to break these rules? Perhaps only Li Xianxian could do that. Madame Mo continued. In any case, Xianxian, you are indeed a great benefactor to our Mo family. Li Xianxian laughed. Grandma, don't do this. You're making me blush. Let's give Xiaodai her medicine. All right, Madame Mo turned to her housemaid. Mrs. Lin, get some warm water. Of course, madam. Mrs. Lin promptly brought a cup of warm boiled water. I'll do it, Mrs. Lin. Li Xianxian gently took the cup from her hands and walked over to Xiaodai's bedside, ready to administer the medicine. She moved gently, carefully helping Xiaodai sit up. Come on, Xiaodai, let's take our medicine. We'll get better after we take it. Though Mo Hudi was still unconscious, she was aware enough to swallow. Occasionally, water spilled from the corner of her mouth, and Li Xianxian, without a hint of disgust, gently wiped it clean with a handkerchief. Watching Li Xianxian, Madame Mo's eyes were filled with satisfaction. Li Xianxian was a rare gem. If she could become her granddaughter-in-law, it would be wonderful. Unfortunately, her eldest grandson was too stubborn. Madame Mo knew she would have to devise a way to bring the two together. After administering the medicine, Li Xianxian assured Madame Mo, "Don't worry, Grandma. With the divine doctor of Jiangnan on our side, Xiaodai will be just fine." Madame Mo nodded. Li Xianxian admonished, "Also, Grandma, the divine doctor said that Xiaodai can't be exposed to sunlight or wind while she's taking this medicine, so the windows need to be closed. We need to be cautious when coming and going." All right. Madame Mo immediately ordered someone to close all the windows. Li Xianxian continued, "Also, besides protecting her from the wind, she also needs to follow a strict diet. She can't have spicy, greasy, or fragrant food." Madame Mo noted everything down. Having given all her instructions, Li Xianxian then asked to leave. Upon hearing that Li Xianxian was leaving, Madame Mo stood up and said, "Why the rush to leave?" Li Xianxian smiled. "I have business to attend to at the base this afternoon. I'll come to see you when I'm free." Madame Mo stood up to accompany Li Xianxian to the door. Li Xianxian, ever considerate, said, "Grandma, don't worry about seeing me out. I know my way around here better than my own home." Madame Mo held Li Xianxian's hand, saying reluctantly, "Xianxian, remember to visit me often when you have the time." Chapter 153. Skillfully slapping the face, never give up treatment. Li Xianxian nodded. "Don't worry." Although Li Xianxian had insisted no need for farewell, old lady Mo still escorted her downstairs. Watching the retreating figure of Li Xianxian, housemaid Lin sipped in awe. "Old lady, Miss Xianxian is such a good girl. Not only is her character good, so is her appearance and manners. She's practically perfect." Indeed, old lady Mo also sighed. Xianxian is indeed an extraordinary girl. Remarkably, Mo Hudi's condition improved significantly the same night she took the medicine. She, who was previously unconscious, was now able to sit up and talk. Mo Fuhai and old lady Mo were overjoyed, shedding tears of relief. "Bodhisattva blesses us. It's truly the Bodhisattva's blessing." Old lady Mo stammered excitedly. Mo Fuhai laughed. "What a futile mindset. Clearly, it's all thanks to Xianxian and the divine doctor from Jiangnan." Old lady Mo nodded hastily. Yes. It's all thanks to Xianxian and the divine doctor from Jiangnan." Mo Fuhai, walking up to Mo Hudi, asked anxiously, "Xiaodai, how do you feel now? Does your head still hurt?" Mo Hudi shook her head. "No, it doesn't hurt anymore, Grandpa. You don't have to worry." In the past, when Mo Hudi said it didn't hurt, it was merely to comfort Mo Fuhai, but this time it truly didn't hurt. "Grandpa, I want to go outside and bask in the sun," Mo Hudi added. Before Mo Fuhai could nod in agreement, old lady Mo said, "Xiaodai, the divine doctor said you can't be exposed to the wind or sunlight now. How about we take you out after you've fully recovered?" Mo Hudi nodded and continued, "Grandma, I want to eat meat." Mo Hudi was truly craving for meat. After being bedridden for over a month, her diet mostly consisted of noodles and porridge, easily digestible foods. She had nearly forgotten the taste of meat. Hearing this, old lady Mo's heart ached, wiping away her tears. The Mo family were wealthy, even their servants could eat meat in their 3 meals a day, but for Mo Hudi, eating meat had become a luxury. The poor girl. Choking back tears, old lady Mo said, "Good girl, you can't eat meat right now. Once you recover, I'll let you eat as much as you want." Mo Hudi dutifully wiped away old lady Mo's tears. "Grandma, don't cry. I don't feel like eating meat now. Meat isn't that great." Her words sounded like she was comforting old lady Mo and also herself. Even the usually composed Mo Fuhai was moved to tears. At the Inai family residence. It was already late at night, but Inai Yang was still busy. She had packed the newly made facial cleanser and aloe gel into glass jars, with 31 jars of facial cleanser and 35 jars of aloe gel in total. The facial cleanser was milky white, while the aloe gel was a pale, jelly-like substance. Arranged in jars with round wooden stoppers, they looked particularly attractive, not unlike those high-end skincare products in later generations. Omitting the labor cost, these products had cost nearly 20 yuan in total. Selling a single jar of aloe gel would cover the cost, and this time, she had 15 pre-orders. Each order was for a jar of facial cleanser and a jar of aloe gel, totaling 35 yuan. 15 orders meant a total of 525 yuan. The thought of how a day's effort could rake in so much money made Yang tireless. Her spirits were high. If she could open up the market for domestic skincare through this endeavor, that would be even better. In her prior world, famous skincare brands like SKI, Lamer, Fairma, Lancome, Helena, and so forth all originated from overseas. Domestic skincare products could hardly compete within the country. Unscrupulous merchants, in order to make money and save costs, would often substitute inferior chemical substances for natural ingredients. This led to tragedies like ruined skin and glow-in-the-dark face masks, gradually eroding the public's trust in domestic skincare products. People preferred to splurge on foreign brands, even at 10 to 100 times the price, rather than settling for domestic brands. Her goal was to carve out new territory within the domestic skincare industry, while these major brands were still absent from the local market. In the past, foreigners capitalized on the exorbitant prices to make money from the Chinese. Yang had a clear goal. She not only wanted to secure a foothold domestically, but also planned to market her skincare products overseas and earn a good deal of foreign money. It was high time for a resurgence of domestic skincare products. Seeing this, Yang refueled her determination. As it was now autumn, she didn't need to store these skincare products in the fridge. A cool, dry place would suffice. Chapter 154. Skillfully slapping the face. Never give up treatment. Having sorted through the skincare products, Yang went back to her room to sleep. The next morning, Yang was awakened by the scent of delicious food. Usually, Yang would prepare breakfast, but Tsuehua, seeing that her daughter was not getting enough sleep, would get up early to prepare breakfast. All Yang had to do was to prepare Mrs. Mo's meals the night before. "Mum, what are we having this morning? It smells wonderful," asked Yang, still brushing her teeth, and she walked over to the stove. Tsuehua answered laughingly, "When your aunt and I were out in the city the other day, everyone seemed to be eating fried dough sticks. They looked really appetizing, so I tried making some. Hurry up and finish brushing your teeth to taste it." In the past, without Yang by her side, Tsuehua would have found it difficult to get around in Beijing, but now things were different. With enough money, she had no problem making her way around the city or even between several cities. The changes in Tsuehua were not just on the surface. "All right." Yang nodded, quickly brushed her teeth, washed her face and came to the living room for breakfast. The main breakfast was porridge, boiled eggs and fried dough sticks. The side dish was spicy radish strips. Savoring the porridge with some spicy radish strips, followed by the crispy fried dough stick, was nothing short of delicious. Kuihua's cooking skills were quite good. She controlled the heat of the dough sticks just right. They tasted crispy and fluffy, leaving a lingering fragrance after bites, and the spicy radish strips perfectly balanced out the greasiness of the fried dough sticks. "Mom, this tastes great." Yang gave her mother a thumbs up. Tsuehua laughed. "You know just how to please me." Chingui from the side said, "Yang's mom, she's not flattering you at all. Your culinary skills are way better than the vendors selling fried dough sticks." No wonder Yang's cooking skills were so good. It turns out Tsuehua was also quite talented. Upon hearing this, Tsuehua laughed even more joyously. "If it's tasty, then eat more." After breakfast, Chingui left for work, and Yang went to bring Wang Meifeng her skincare products. Wang Meifeng's workplace was in the center of Beijing. When Yang arrived, Wang Meifeng had already been waiting. "Yang over here." "Auntie Wang." Yang stopped her car with a smile. "Yang, here is the money, please count it." Wang Meifeng handed An Yang an envelope. An Yang took the envelope, smiling. No need to count. Don't I trust you? By the way, these are the face wash and aloe gel. She unloaded a cardboard box from the back seat of her car. Shall I help you bring it in? Wang Meifeng said. No need, Yang, I can do it myself. You go ahead with your work. An Yang handed the bag hanging from her car to Wang Meifeng and laughed. You have worked hard, Auntie Wang. Oh, these are the dried fruits and sour plum soup that I made myself. Please share them with your colleagues. And this is the bread I made for Guobao. Before even opening the package, a mouth-watering aroma filled the air. Feeling uncomfortable accepting An Yang's gifts for no reason, Wang Meifeng insisted that these were not a big deal to her. It was An Yang who had been a great help to her family. If it hadn't been for An Yang, Yang Guobao would still be sick. Without An Yang, would her skin have become so good? Seeing Wang Meifeng's rejections, An Yang swiftly filled Wang Meifeng's arms with the items, hopped onto her bike, and turned to depart, hollering back, Bye, Auntie Wang. Wang Meifeng chuckled and shook her head. This child. Back in her office, Wang Meifeng put aside the things that An Yang had given for Yang Guobao. She then distributed the skincare products along with the dried fruits and sour plum soup to her colleagues. Wow. Meifeng, this sour plum soup is incredible. Where did you buy it from? The dried fruits are also good. They are even tastier than the imported ones. The office filled up with the rustling sound of munching on dried fruits and words of praise. Wang Meifeng said, both the dried fruits and sour plum soup were handmade by the divine doctor. She asked me to bring them and share with you all. That divine doctor is amazing. How does she know how to do everything? Absolutely. She is quite extraordinary, isn't she? Suddenly, a voice sourer than vinegar piped up. This tactic of attracting popularity is indeed good. Who knows if she really is that good? You all shouldn't count someone's money after being sold. The speaker was Lu Fun, who usually butted heads with Wang Meifeng. Lu Fun had once pursued Wang Meifeng's husband, Yang Changjing. After Wang Meifeng and Yang Changjing became a couple, Lu Fun believed that Wang Meifeng had come between her and Yang Changjing's relationship, so she often targeted Wang Meifeng, dreaming of shattering Wang Meifeng and Yang Changjing's marital bliss, hoping for a prompt divorce. Chapter 155. Cleverly slapping the face, never give up treatment carrot. Lu Fun had once heard that the relationship between Wang Meifeng and Zhou Suhua was a strained mother-in-law and daughter-in-law relationship, which made Lu Fun ecstatic to the point where she couldn't sleep for 3 days and 3 nights. Wang Meifeng wasn't afraid of Lu Fun either. Immediately she retorted, whether someone is really impressive or not, time will tell everyone. There's no need for you to poke your nose into everything. Lu Fun, I just don't understand. A long enough rope can be knotted. Why can't your tongue be? Cultured people truly have a unique way of swearing, without a single dirty word. Lu Fun hadn't even graduated from junior high. The only reason she could work here was nepotism. When she said this, a wave of laughter immediately swept through the crowd. Lu Fun's face had turned beet red, and she felt like cursing those who had bought skincare products to get facial abscesses and become disfigured immediately. After some time, Lu Fun turned to a co-worker she was relatively close with and said, Nana, remember skincare products are put on the face. Be careful with these unverified products, without any manufacturing date or brand. I'm worried they might disfigure you. I have a relative who was cheated by a known person and used skincare products of unknown origin. She is 35 now and still can't find a husband. To discredit Wang Meifeng and the unknown divine doctor, Lu Fun even didn't hesitate to curse her own relatives. At these words, Zhou Nana was a bit surprised and said, Sister Fun, is that really true? Lu Fun nodded, and dead serious said, Of course, would I joke around about my own relative? Let me tell you, she now hides at home, too ashamed to face people with her disfigured face that even ghosts would be scared of. A disfigured face. This was no joking matter. And what Lu Fun said made sense. Would you use a skincare product with no label? Once she said this, not only Zhou Nana but the faces of other co-workers also weren't looking too good. Seeing everyone like this, Lu Fun showed a pleased smile on her face. Wang Meifeng laughed and said, Rest assured. Not only is divine doctor skillful in medical skills, His craft in making skincare products is also top-notch. You all are worried about your faces being ruined, but does my face look damaged to you? Don't listen to Lu Fen's alarmist talk. She just can't stand to see others doing better than her. Wang Meifeng spoke directly without any fear of offending Lu Fen. Even though Wang Meifeng said so, everyone was still somewhat apprehensive. After all, the face is one's identity, and it matters a lot. If problems crop up later, who would they go to for help? They should be more cautious. Feeling a bit remorseful, Zhou Nan amused. I'm sorry, Sister Meifeng. Could I return this skincare product to you? If not, forget it. I'll just consider this 35 yuan spent as a lesson learned. Wang Meifeng laughed and said, Of course you can. I'm not forcing anyone to buy anything. But Nana, don't regret your decision. Seeing Zhou Nana returning the skincare product, the others followed suit. Though buying and returning behavior wasn't ideal, their faces mattered more. After all, 35 yuan wasn't a small amount. Money didn't come easy for anyone. In a blink, 11 people returned their products. 4 people didn't return their products, 2 of them being Wang Meifeng's good friends who trusted she wouldn't lie to them. The other 2 were Wang Meifeng's subordinates, who out of respect, didn't feel comfortable returning the products. Wang Meifeng wasn't angry. It was just a couple of 100 yuan. If they missed out on good products, that was their loss. Looking at the 4 people that didn't return the products, Lu Fen sneered. Are you 4 fools? Or do you just like being disfigured? A slightly overweight woman glared at Lu Fen and threatened. Lu Fen, if you dare to distort the truth and being nonsensical, believe it or not, I'll slap you. This was Sun Mei, usually more aggressive. If she was truly angered, she wouldn't hesitate to take action. Grudgingly, Lu Fen shut her mouth. These women, who refused to listen to good advice, deserved to be disfigured. They would regret it someday. Sun Mei patted Wang Meifeng's back. Ignore her type, I believe in you. I also trust you. Another good friend, Tao Yuan, also comforted Wang Meifeng. Wang Meifeng nonchalantly said, It's fine, the innocent need not worry. I am not angry. It's not worth getting angry with such people. And Yang had no idea what was happening here. She was currently riding her bike, humming a tune, and heading towards the vegetable market. Chapter 156. Cleverly slapping the face, never give up treatment. A black car was driving straight towards her. Seated in the back was none other than Mo Baichuan. Mo Baichuan spotted Yang almost instantly. Her again. Had had a few days of peace, and now? Why was she back in front of him? Could this really be a coincidence? Who would believe that? Mo Baichuan narrowed his eyes and ordered, Xiao Zhao, pull over. All right. His driver, Xiao Zhao, did as he was instructed. Mo Baichuan opened his door, getting out of the car and standing in the middle of the road with his arm out, blocking Yang's car. If Yang was going to keep trying to get his attention, he might as well play the game once. Someone suddenly jumping out into the middle of the road startled Yang so much she almost swore. Her fast reaction was the only thing that saved her from hitting him. Are you insane? Yang looked up furiously to indeed see a madman. Mo Baichuan. Yang, tell me, what's the point of all this? Mo Baichuan glared coldly. I'll tell you straight, no matter what you do, I'll never be attracted to someone like you. Even if Yang has the face of Su Daji, he isn't King Zhou of Shang. Yang picked at her ear disbelievingly. What did you say? Mo Baichuan continued. Did you not understand me? I'll repeat it for you then. I will never be attracted to a scheming woman like you. Yang laughed out of pure frustration. She had been on this earth for 2 lifetimes, and she had never met another as narcissistic and shameless as Mo Baichuan. Yang took a deep breath, pulled the watch out of her pocket, and shoved it into Mo Baichuan's hands. Thank you for promising never to be attracted to a conniving woman like me. Hey, race your watch, and please stay out of my sight in the future. You might enjoy it, but I, the scheming woman, have a strong sense of hygiene. She deliberately emphasized the word strong sense of hygiene. And delusion is an illness that needs treatment. Before Mo Baichuan could react, Yang pulled out a 1-cent note and placed it in Mo Baichuan's hand. You're still young, don't ever give up on getting treatment. Consider the money my good deed for the day. Young had initially planned to give him a bigger note, but upon second thought, she decided that Mo Baichuan wasn't worth wasting it on. A cent was more than enough. If there were even smaller amounts, she wouldn't have given him a cent, leaving her parting words ringing in the air. Young didn't wait for Mo Baichuan's reactions. She hopped onto her bicycle and left. Mo Baichuan was on the verge of exploding with rage. His handsome face seemed to have a layer of frost, sending chills down your spine. What did Young mean by all this? Was she doing the exact opposite of what he expected? For the first time, Mo Baichuan was infuriated not once, but 3 times by the same woman. Daring. She was so daring. The 1-cent note in his hand was crumpled into a ball by Mo Baichuan. His knuckles turned white from clenching his fist. This was the first time had ever been this angry. No woman had met would dare behave anything less than a docile kitten around him. Yet Young was acting like a hedgehog. One day, he would expose her true face. Through the car window, his driver, Xiao Zhao, seemed to see a familiar scene. It seemed that only Young had the ability to make Mo Baichuan lose control. Xiao Zhao couldn't muster the courage to approach Mo Baichuan, and could only sit stiffly in the car. With the arrival of chilly autumn wind, the weather had begun to turn cold. So tonight, Young planned on cooking grilled fish. Due to the weather, fish and shrimp were no longer available from local ponds, so she went to the vegetable market. She bought a catfish, along with some bean sprouts, tofu skin, and kelp to accompany it. After finishing her grocery shopping, Young visited the hardware store to buy a pan for grilling fish. However, after a thorough search, she couldn't find a pan similar to the one she had had in her previous life. So, Young explained what the fish grilling pan looked like to the shopkeeper. The shop owner replied with a smile. "We don't have the kind of pan you're looking for, but we do have another that won't stick to the fish." Young asked, "Could you please show it to me?" In a brief moment, the shopkeeper presented her with a round stainless steel pan, quite similar to the pancake griddles, but without a long handle, just 2 knobs. This pan. It could work. Then Young asked, "I'll take this one then. How much is it?" Chapter 157. Cleverly slapping the face. Never give up treatment _6. 8 yuan. The boss must really think she's a kid to mess around with. An old pot that hasn't sold for over 800 years. And he wants to sell it for 8 yuan? Young laughed and said, "Boss, quit joking. I'm serious about buying. I'll take it for 1 yuan and 50 cents. The boss replied speechlessly, "Young lady, you're the one who's joking. A pot worth 8 yuan for 150? This pot is the most sought after this year. If you come any later, you might not be able to buy it." Young said, "I've never seen any sought-after item that has been stored in the warehouse for several years and not sold. If you don't really want to sell it, then I'll leave you alone." With that, Young turned and left. Seeing that Young had walked several steps and had no intention of turning back, the boss immediately shouted, "Young lady, come back. Come back quickly. I'll sell it to you for 150. Although 1 yuan and 50 cents wouldn't make much profit, it was better than it rotting in the warehouse and turning into a piece of waste. She originally thought that this young lady was easy to fool, but she never expected that this young lady was very shrewd. Successfully buying a pot and groceries, Young returned home. When she returned home, it was after 5 in the afternoon, just in time to cook. Tsuehua was washing vegetables, while Young went to start a charcoal fire to grill fish. The grilled fish had to be grilled with charcoal fire to be authentic. Grilling in a bread oven would definitely not work. So Young started a charcoal fire in the stove, split the fish in half and skewered it on a bamboo stick, and started grilling. Before long, there was a sizzling sound in the air. After seeing the fish oil come out, she started adding chili powder, cumin powder, table salt and other spices. After all the spices were added, a distinctive barbecue aroma came out. Young seemed to have returned to the time in her past life, when she sat on the street grilling skewers. After the fish was grilled till both sides were golden brown, Young started to stir-fry the grilled fish ingredients. First, she stir-fried the bean paste to bring out the red oil, then added spring onions, ginger, and garlic to bring out the fragrance. Then she added green chili peppers, onions, Sichuan peppercorns, soy sauce, beer and water. After it was boiled on high heat, she poured the red soup over the grilled fish. Instantly, an enticing aroma filled the air. The fragrance of cumin, the spiciness of the red oil, and a sprinkle of cilantro as decoration. A look and taste-appealing grilled fish was ready. And Ai-yong brought the grilled fish to the table and lit the small stove. Immediately, the red oil soup in the grilled fish started to boil, and the aroma became even stronger. At this time, she added the side dishes and you could eat while dipping in the soup. When Enai Chunggui walked in, he was immediately shocked by this enticing aroma. "Yang, what are we eating today? It smells so good." Enai Yang smiled and said, "Enai aunt, we're eating grilled fish today." Enai Chunggui had had braised fish, steamed fish, sour fish, and even sashimi, but he had never had grilled fish. No need to think about it. He knew this taste must be amazing. Upon hearing this, Enai Chunggui couldn't wait and said, "Oh, go wash my hands." Grilled fish is different from sour fish. It's numbing and spicy at first bite, then crispy on the outside and tender inside. It's so soft that it melts in your mouth as you take a light bite. Even the side dishes boiled in the soup are so delicious that people doubt their life. After finishing a pot of grilled fish, the soup left in the pot can be eaten with several bowls of rice. Why can fish be made so delicious? Enai Chunggui was almost crying. "Yang, I have nothing else to say. Just 2 words, phenomenal." Enai Chunggui held a thumbs up to Enai Yang. Enai Yang laughed and said, "It's good that you like it, Enai auntie." Although Enai Tsuehua didn't say anything, she was equally shocked. She thought the sour fish was already delicious. To her surprise, the taste of this grilled fish made it irresistible. In comparison, she felt that the food she used to eat at the Mu family was not even as good as pig's food. After the meal, Enai Chunggui finally had the chance to discuss something important. "By the way, Yang, 2 of my colleagues want me to buy your aloe vera gel and facial cleanser for them. Do you sell those?" The results of the facial cleanser and aloe vera gel that Enai Yang made were incredibly good. Not only could it make the skin smooth, but it also made the skin more elastic and made their skin look rejuvenated. This caused wherever she went, people would ask her what brand of skincare she was using. "Of course I sell it." Enai Yang nodded. Enai Chunggui asked again, "How much are they?" Enai Yang replied, "The facial cleanser is 15, and the aloe vera gel is 20. Chapter 158. Skillfully slapping the face, never give up treatment. 7 bottles for 35 yuan really isn't expensive. After all, these skincare products work so well. Enai Chunggui then said, "Then get me 2 sets, no 3 sets, I need a kit too." Enai Yang had given her some last time, which she had nearly used up. Enai Yang turned around, fetched 3 sets of skincare products from her house, and handed them to her. Enai Chunggui took out 105 yuan from her pocket and gave it to Enai Yang. Enai Yang took out 35 yuan and returned it to Enai Chunggui. "Enai, you've helped me promote my skincare products and even sold 2 sets for me. How can I take your money? From now on, I'll cover all your skincare products. If you run out, just let me know directly." A good product is important, but knowing how to drive your business is even more important. Enai Yang wouldn't sacrifice greater benefits for a little profit. No employee is obliged to do overtime for their boss. Although Enai Chunggui is not her employee, the principle is the same. As the saying goes, even brothers keep accounts. Enai Chunggui felt embarrassed and said, "How can this be, Yang? It's not easy for you to do business." Enai Yang laughed and replied, "Nothing is impossible. Aunt Enai, please take it at ease, we're family. You've always taken great care of me. If you don't accept this, it would really be alienating." Enai Yang gave her word, leaving Enai Chunggui no choice but to accept. At the same time, she decided to herself that she would definitely help Enai Yang promote her skincare products more in the future. Meanwhile, when Sun Mei was washing her face in the evening, she noticed the clear glass jar on the sink. Although in the daytime, she firmly stated that she trusted Wang Meifeng. This was after all a matter concerning her own face. What if really like what Lu Fun, that harbinger of doom, said? Between using it and not using it, she hesitated for a long time. Eventually, she decided to take a risk and give it a try. What if it really works like magic? She refused to believe that Wang Meifeng, an old acquaintance, would harm her. Removing the cap of the facial cleanser, Sun Mei immediately caught a whiff of a very pleasant fragrance. Although it was very light, it was nonetheless refreshing to the senses. Would a crappy skin-ruining product smell this nice? With that thought, Sun Mei's worries evaporated significantly. She put some of the facial cleanser in her palm, applied it evenly on her face, and within a short while, a white foam appeared on her face. It was gentle and not irritating and was able to wash off the dirt and grease hidden on her face. After washing, she felt significantly more relaxed. It seems that Wang Meifeng was indeed telling the truth. This stuff is really better than facial powder. Sun Mei then applied some aloe vera gel on her face. After completing her skincare routine, Sun Mei went to bed. When she woke up the next morning and was combing her hair, Sun Mei was amazed to discover that the red spots on her face were gone, and her skin was much more moisturized than usual. This is simply incredible. No wonder it was developed by a divine doctor. As soon as Sun Mei arrived at the company, she excitedly told Wang Meifeng about what happened. Even though she didn't speak loudly, everyone in the office heard her. Did everyone else frown? Is it real or fake? Are those skincare products really that miraculous? But upon examination, it seemed that Sun Mei's skin condition did look much better. Didn't Lu Fen say it would ruin the face? Noticing the stares of others, Lu Fen snorted coldly. It's only been 1 day. How could it ruin the face so quickly? At least 3 days. Just wait and see, in 3 days she will definitely regret. Everyone thought so too. It's only been a day. What effect could be seen? Time flew by quickly, and in the blink of an eye, it was the 2nd day. The 2nd day, Sun Mei's skin not only showed no signs of abnormalities. Instead, it was radiantly healthy. On the 3rd day, when everyone was looking forward to seeing Sun Mei's face deteriorate, her face not only did not deteriorate but also looked better than it did the day before. Her skin had improved, and Sun Mei was all smiles wherever she went, no longer exhibiting her previously fierce demeanor. By this time, Lu Fen was already becoming restless. It shouldn't be. Why didn't her face get ruined? How could a product with no certifications and standards not ruin the face? Perhaps 3 days was not long enough to show any effect. It might take 6 days. Yes. It must be like this. However, on the 3rd, 4th, and even 5th day, Sun Mei's skin condition got better day by day. Now, she even hummed while walking. The sight of this left everyone envious. Walking boastfully up to Lu Fen, Sun Mei taunted. Lu Fen, didn't you say that my face would be ruined after 3 days? But now 6 days have passed. Not only is my face undamaged, but my skin has also been getting better and better each day. You really should apologize to Meifeng. Hearing this, everyone chimed in agreement. Yes. Lu Fen is to blame. If she didn't cause trouble back then, we would already be using it by now. Lu Fen, you nearly cost us the chance to use such good skincare products. You owe an apology not only to Meifeng but also to us. Enraged to the point of blushing, Lu Fen retorted. It may be that the time isn't up yet. Sun Mei, what are you so pleased about? Just wait and see, sooner or later your face will be ruined. Laughing, Sun Mei responded. Lu Fen, your disgusting face is really hard to look at. Forget it, I'm in a good mood today and can't be bothered to quarrel with you. Otherwise, I would definitely have slapped you. Also, I'm putting it out there today, if I hear you bad-mouthing Divine Doctor again, I, Sun Mei, will not let you off. The surrounding crowd began to reprimand Lu Fen for her wrongdoing. Lu Fen, who was previously a crowd favorite, had now become a scapegoat. Right then and there, Lu Fen was like a dog that had fallen into the water. She slinked away with her tail between her legs, leaving the office in shame. Just wait and see. Sooner or later, they will regret it. After Lu Fen left, her colleagues rushed towards Wang Meifeng. Meifeng, is it too late for me to change my mind? I'm willing to pay double the price for the facial cleanser and aloe vera gel. Me too. I want to buy too. Meifeng, we're sorry, we shouldn't have betrayed you. We didn't trust you. Meifeng, we're sorry. Wang Meifeng replied with a slight smile. It's okay. As our chairman said, if you can correct your wrongs, you are still a good comrade. But there are none left today. The remaining 11 bottles from last time were all bought by colleagues from other departments. If you want to buy them, you can come over and register first. The price will still be the original one. Thanks to Sun Mice example, those 11 bottles were swept clean by the neighboring department 3 days ago. Hearing this, the previously calmed people flared up at Lu Fen once more. Mo family. Early in the morning, Zhou Suhua brought Yang Guobao to visit Mo Hudy, who was sick. Even after taking the medicine from the divine doctor for a week, Mo Hudy's condition looked much better than before, but she was still bedridden and her face was filled with signs of illness. Zhou Suhua told Mrs. Mo about Yang Guobao's complete recovery. Surprised, Mrs. Mo asked, "Is he really recovered?" Zhou Suhua nodded. "Indeed, he's better. I underestimated the divine doctor and nearly missed Guobao's chance of recovery. Thankfully, Meifeng is a good girl and insisted on the treatment. Erwin, that divine doctor is really amazing. Why don't you let her come and see your daughter, Hudy? It's not doing us any good to keep on like this." Chapter 159. Home visit. Li Xianxian commits suicide. Zhou Suhua now deeply believes in Ni Yang. When she talks about this, her eyes are full of admiration. Without treating Ni Yang as a 17 or 18-year-old kid, she also earnestly hopes that Mo Hudy will get better soon. Otherwise, she wouldn't have recommended Ni Yang to Old Lady Mo. Hearing this, Old Lady Mo was surprised. "Is that divine doctor really that amazing? Didn't I hear people say that he was just a 17 or 18-year-old kid? How could a child be so capable?" Old Lady Mo was still somewhat skeptical in her heart. Zhou Suhua nodded. "It's true. We've been sisters for so many years. Would I lie to you? Although the young divine doctor is young, his medical skills are genuinely brilliant. Otherwise, Guobao wouldn't have recovered so quickly. Erwin, think about it. In order to cure Guobao's illness, Changzheng and Meifeng visited many hospitals and even consulted with foreign professors. But the illness that even the foreign professors couldn't cure was cured by her. Isn't she a divine doctor? Sometimes a person's strength really can't be judged by their age. If Meifeng didn't believe in the divine doctor like me at the time, Guobao might not be here now." Upon hearing this, Old Lady Mo became deep in thought. The current Yang Guobao is indeed very different from the previous one. The before and after was like two different people. You must know that the disease Yang Guobao previously suffered from was considered incurable. There was no record of successful treatment in modern medicine. But Yang Guobao and Mo Hudy's illnesses were completely different. Could that divine doctor really cure Mo Hudy as well? Old Lady Mo hesitated for a moment, then said, "Actually, Xiaodai's condition has improved somewhat recently after taking the medicine prescribed by that Jiangnan divine doctor. As the saying goes, too many cooks spoil the broth. Wouldn't it be inappropriate to consult another doctor?" Zhou Suhua promptly replied, "Although that's true, more manpower means more hope. We all want Xiaodai to get better quickly. Seeing as that Jiangnan divine doctor hasn't even shown his face, getting another person to have a look might ease our concerns." Zhou Suhua spoke reasonably, so Old Lady Mo nodded. "Suhua, your words are eye-opening. In this case, where does that divine doctor live? I'll have someone invite him right away." Zhou Suhua said, "Let's do this. I'll call Meifeng now." Okay. Old Lady Mo kept nodding. "Then I will have to trouble your family's Meifeng." Zhou Suhua laughed and said, "We've known each other for so many years, there's no need to mention anything burdensome." Zhou Suhua got up to make the call. Wang Meifeng is also a warm-hearted person. Upon hearing her mother-in-law's words, she immediately dropped her work and had Yang Changzheng drive her to Ni Yang's place. Yang Guobao bounced over. "Grandma, Old Lady Mo, is Sister Ni Yang coming to treat Xiaodai?" Zhou Suhua nodded. "Yes, your dad and mom have already gone to pick up your sister Ni Yang." Yang Guobao cheerfully said, "That's great. Sister Ni Yang will surely cure Xiaodai." After that, Yang Guobao ran to the bedroom to bring this good news to Mo Hudy, who was lying in bed. The servant quickly shut the door, fearing that even a little wind would come in. Yang Guobao ran to Mo Hudy's bedside, excitedly saying, "Xiaodai, let me tell you, Sister Ni Yang is really amazing." When he said this, his eyes were nearly sparkling. Mo Hudy weakly said, "Really?" Yang Guobao nodded. It's really true. Look how well I look now. It's Sister and I Young who cured me. Xiaodai, don't worry, Sister and I Young will definitely be able to cure you too. Soon we can go to school together and play together. Hearing this, a smile of longing appeared in Mo Huti's eyes. It was a desire emanating from the depths of her heart. It was also the redemption of a deeply ill person. Just then, there were footsteps outside the door again. Old Lady Zheng and Miss Xianjing are here. The servant pushed open the door from outside. Zheng Xianjing supported Old Lady Zheng into the room, and the coughing sound of Old Lady Zheng accompanied them. Old Lady Mo, seeing Zhou Suhua, Zheng Xianjing exclaimed in surprise. Oh, Old Lady Yang is here too. Xianjing. Zhou Suhua greeted her with a smile. Zheng Xianjing was a sweet and pretty girl who performed well in her studies. She was quite liked by the elderly folks. Chapter 160. Home Visit. Li Xianxian commits suicide _2. After everyone was settled, Mrs. Zheng asked, Erwin, I heard that Xiaodai has improved significantly after taking the medicine Xianxian sent over. Is that true? Madame Mo nodded. Yes, Xiaodai has indeed improved a lot thanks to Xianxian. But later, a divine doctor will be coming to check on Xiaodai. Is it that divine doctor from Jiangnan? Mrs. Zheng continued to ask. Madame Mo said, No, it's the doctor who cured Guobao. Guobao as well. Mrs. Zheng expressed her surprise. Suhua, is this true? Zhou Suhua nodded. It's true. Mrs. Zheng went on. Where is Guobao? Zhou Suhua replied with a smile. He's inside chatting with Xiaodai. Let me call him out for you. All right. Mrs. Zheng nodded. Shortly after, Zhou Suhua brought Yang Guobao out from the room. Hello, Granny Zheng and Sister Xianjing. Yang Guobao greeted politely. Come here. Let me take a good look at you. Mrs. Zheng summoned Yang Guobao. Yang Guobao approached. Mrs. Zheng first felt Yang Guobao's forehead and then his hands, pausing for a long while before confirming. He's cured. He's truly cured. In a sick person, it's normally cold at the root of the nose and the acupuncture point in the middle of the palm. However, those points in Yang Guobao were no different from a healthy person's. Granny Zheng of course am cured, Yang Guobao said proudly. My sister and I Yang is very awesome. Sister and I Yang? Mrs. Zheng was somewhat puzzled. Zhou Suhua from a side explained. Sister and I Yang is the divine doctor who cured Guobao. Oh. Mrs. Zheng nodded. Then Yang Guobao continued to say, Let me tell you, Granny Zheng. Not only is my sister and I Yang good with medical skills, but she is also very beautiful. If you meet her, you're sure to like her a lot. Mrs. Mo teased from the side. Is your sister and I Yang more beautiful than Sister Xianjing? Yang Guobao glanced at Zheng Xianjing. After a moment, resting his chin on his hand, he answered seriously. Well, Sister and I Yang is a bit more beautiful than Sister Xianjing. In truth, she was much more beautiful. But Yang Guobao felt shy to say it out loud. His mother had taught him that one should not only be honest, but also diplomatic, in dealing with others. One should always leave some face for the other party. By declaring that Sister and I Yang was multiple times more beautiful than Sister Xianjing, he was sure to embarrass her. Yang Guobao's earnest demeanor amused the three elderly people, and made them laugh heartily. Zheng Xianjing was also smiling, but there was a flash of strong resentment hidden in her bowed eyes. What a brat! Does he even know what to say? Even Li Xianxian isn't as beautiful as her. How could a simple country doctor possibly compare to her? Her previously good mood was completely ruined by the child's words. When Wang Meifeng arrived at the Enai family's home, she found Enai Yang watering the plants in the vegetable garden. Wang Meifeng relayed the situation regarding Mo Huti to Enai Yang. After bidding Enai Tsuehua goodbye, Enai Yang took some emergency medicine and got into the car with Wang Meifeng. Xiaodai is 13 this year. She got sick when she was around 9 or 10 and has been bedridden since then. She's a pitiful child. Yang, you don't need to stress. We'll just go and take a look. If we can't treat her, it's okay. After all, Mo Huti's illness was completely different from Yang Guobao's, and Wang Meifeng didn't want to put too much pressure on Enai Yang. Enai Yang nodded. I understand. The car was fast and they soon arrived at the Mo's residence. As soon as the car door was opened, Yang Guobao rushed out from the courtyard and hugged Anai Yang. Sister Anai Yang, you're here. Bow. Anai Yang patted Yang Guobao's head. Then Yang Guobao introduced Anai Yang to Mrs. Mo and Mrs. Zheng, who were standing behind him. Granny Mo, Granny Zheng, this is my sister Anai Yang. Anai Yang nodded politely. Nice to meet you. Mrs. Zheng stared at Anai Yang, momentarily at a loss for words. This girl. Why did she find this girl so familiar? Mrs. Zheng even had a sudden impulse to embrace Anai Yang. Zheng Xianjing glanced at Mrs. Zheng and suddenly felt a sense of irritation. This expression on Mrs. Zheng's face was all too familiar. It was the same face she wore every time she thought about her deceased daughter. That person was already dead. Couldn't she care a little bit more about the feelings of the living beside her? Chapter 161. Home visit. Li Xianxian commits suicide _3. Despite showing our filial piety to this damned old woman all these years, we end up being deemed worse than a corpse. How utterly ridiculous. This ungrateful hag deserves to have no descendants. Although Zheng Xianjing cursed the old woman hundreds of times in her heart, she still put on a polite and understanding face. Zhou Suhua next to her said, Erwin-aching, this is the young divine doctor, Anai Yang, whom I told you about. Even though old lady Mo was aware that the person who had treated Yang Guobao was youthful, she hadn't expected them to be a child. Moreover, she was incredibly beautiful. Old lady Mo once thought Zheng Xianjing was the most beautiful girl she had ever seen, but now compared to Anai Yang, Zheng Xianjing seemed like a mere commoner. It is often said that when God opens a door, he also closes a window. Generally, people with exceptional talents have some slight deficiencies. This little girl was so beautiful, flawless in fact. Could her medical skills be as impeccable? After all, they do say that beauty lacks brains. So in old lady Mo's mind, usually people who were too beautiful weren't all that bright. Every saying does have its origin after all. Although old lady Mo had her doubts, she still smiled and said, Hello young divine doctor. I am Xiaodai's grandmother. I appreciate your attention to Xiaodai. Anai Yang smiled lightly. You're too kind. As a doctor, it's my duty to treat and save people. This child was quite modest. Not impatient. Not bad at all. Well, why not let her try? Maybe she is indeed talented. Good child, how old are you this year? Old lady Zheng asked, holding Anai Yang's hand with a somewhat moved expression. Anai Yang politely answered, Old lady, I am 17 today. Old lady Zheng nodded. 17, 2 years younger than our Tingting. Where are you from? Before the old lady could continue her question, Zheng Tingting interjected surprisingly. I can't believe the young divine doctor is only 17. At 17 I was just a child, but the young divine doctor is already famous. It's quite a shame to our generation. Even though this remark seemed to praise Anai Yang, it actually had a sting. Famous? Anai Yang had only treated one person, Yang Guobao, so where did this fame come from? Besides, old lady Mo was doubtful of Anai Yang's medical skills from the start. This remark was not only prickling but also filled with considerable ridicule. For some reason, Zheng Xianjing just couldn't bring herself to like Anai Yang. Having such a beautiful face, she was certainly no good girl. Zheng Xianjing enjoyed hanging out with people who were less attractive than her. Those who looked better than her deserved to die. Anai Yang wasn't offended but smiled and said, Kai Wenji identified melodies at 6, Kong Rong yielded pairs at 7, and Gan Luo became prime minister at 12. People are different with diverse talents. You don't need to feel inferior, sister. Anai Yang's tone was light, but her words were powerful, a beautiful retort. Zheng Xianjing kept a stifled breath in her heart, almost to the point of being infuriated to death by Anai Yang. Both old lady Mo and old lady Zheng wore approving expressions. This young divine doctor indeed was a formidable figure. An ordinary 17-year-old child wouldn't comprehend such philosophy, let alone so much insight. Besides, Zheng Xianjing was usually an exceptional kid. Very few rich girls could match her rhetorically, but today, she tasted defeat at the hands of Anai Yang. Quite extraordinary indeed. Seeing Zheng Xianjing in an awkward position, old lady Mo stepped in and said, Let's go inside. Xiaodai is still waiting. Zheng Xianjing bit her lips unwillingly, but remained silent. Sometimes less talk is better. The more one talks, the more mistakes they make. She would take her revenge at the appropriate time. Enai Yang followed old Lady Mo and others into the courtyard. The Mo family lived in a row of villas with 5 floors each. The villas in the front, the servants' rooms at the back. The servants' rooms were slightly shorter but very grand, clearly indicating the family's prosperity. The interior was also top-grade luxury. Beautiful crystal chandeliers, delicate imported Persian carpets, huge leather sofas, and famous paintings could be seen everywhere. Any ordinary person who entered such a house would be amazed, like Granny Lu visiting the Grandview Gardens. Chapter 162. Home Visit. Li Xianxian commits suicide _4. But who was Enai Yang? In her previous life as director what kind of scenario had she not experienced? She didn't see much in these trivialities. Seeing her so calm, Lady Mo couldn't help but take a few more looks at her. This child was a bit beyond her expectations. Looking at her attire, she didn't seem to be from a wealthy family. Yet after seeing these things, there was no trace of greed in her eyes, just sheer clarity and tranquility. She didn't seem like a child in her teens, but more like someone who had been through 1,000 storms and held high positions. Perhaps she indeed had the potential to achieve great things. They all went upstairs together. And just as they were stepping onto the top stair, Lady Zheng missed a step. Just as she was about to tumble backward onto the ground, someone gently grasped her hand, pulling with a clever force, stabilizing Lady Zheng's body immediately. She heard a soft voice beside her. "Be careful, old lady." Looking up, Lady Zheng saw it was Enai Yang who had assisted her, and she gratefully said, "Thank you, young divine doctor." "It was nothing." Enai Yang replied with a light smile, 2 shallow dimples appearing on her cheeks. For a moment, Lady Zheng lost herself. She remembered that her Tingting also had such small dimples. "Grandma, are you all right?" Zheng Tingting, who was leading the way, noticed something was wrong. She stopped and held onto Lady Zheng's arm, asking concernedly. Only then was Lady Zheng jolted back to reality. She responded with a helpless smile. "I'm fine." Enai Yang softly reminded. "The elderly may have trouble with mobility. You should pay more attention, sister." How amusing. Was Enai Yang indirectly criticizing her lack of filial piety? Should she take a look at who she is first? A mere barefoot village doctor who accidentally cured Yang Gobeo's illness. What right does she have to judge her? For a moment, Zheng Xianjing was even more irritated. Yet she still smiled and said, "Young divine doctor is correct. It was indeed my negligence this time. Thank you, young divine doctor. Grandma, let us go in quickly." Enai Yang said no further, and followed everyone into the room. The moment she stepped into the room, Enai Yang discreetly furrowed her brows. The air in the room wasn't pleasant, it was outright disagreeable. Enai Yang looked around, realizing that all the doors and windows in the room were tightly closed, the curtains were drawn, and the only light was coming from a chandelier overhead. Based on the stale air, she guesstimated that the room had been closed off for at least 10 days, if not longer. Little Miss Mo Hudy, who was lying on the bed, was ominously pale and emaciated. If Wang Meifeng hadn't mentioned it earlier, Enai Yang would never have guessed that this child was already 13 years old. Yang Guobao ran over to Mo Hudy with excitement. Xiaodai, this is the sister Enai Yang I told you about." Mo Hudy looked up at Enai Yang, graced her with a light smile, and politely greeted, "Hello, Sister Naiyang." This sister Enai Yang was indeed as beautiful as Yang Guobao had claimed, prettier even than Snow White on television. "Hello, Xiaodai." Enai Yang sat down, extending her hand towards Mo Hudy to feel her pulse. The air in the room grew still. Everyone was waiting for Enai Yang to speak. After a while, Enai Yang released her hand, raised Mo Hudy's chin and instructed, "Don't be nervous, close your eyes first. I need to check your pupils." Mo Hudy closed her eyes as instructed. After examining her pupils, Enai Yang wore a complex expression. She looked up at Lady Mo and asked, "Has Xiaodai been taking any medication lately? And did her condition improve after that?" "Yes." Lady Mo nodded. Enai Yang continued, Can you bring the medicine over for me to see? Certainly. Lady Mo nodded, retrieving a small red porcelain bottle from the drawer of the bedside table. After Yang received the porcelain bottle and sniffed it lightly, she proceeded. The pills contain aconite, piperaceae, 7 dragon's grass, puraria root, cherry seed, snakeberry, dandelion, and other medicinal herbs. These herbs have astringent properties, warm regulation, and help to clear internal heat, but they have been erroneously prescribed for Xiaodai's condition. If Xiaodai seems to be improving, it is only due to the astringent properties working to alleviate her symptoms temporarily. This is treating the symptoms, not the cause. She must stop taking these immediately, because otherwise, within 3 days, not only will her condition not improve, but it will worsen to such an extent that it could be life-threatening. Yang spoke earnestly. There wasn't an ounce of jest in her expression. Lady Mo was taken aback. But this was personally sent by the divine doctor of Jiangnan. Chapter 163. Home Visit. Li Xianxian commits suicide _5. Could a medicine prescribed by the divine doctor be wrong? Moreover, Mo Hudi's condition has shown signs of improvement after taking the medicine. Could it be, as Yang said, a treatment of the symptoms but not the cause? One is the famous divine doctor of Jiangnan. The other is the divine doctor who cured Yang Guobao. For a moment, Elder Lady Mo was unsure about whom to trust. Seeing Elder Lady Mo's uncertainty, Yang continued. I assume the divine doctor of Jiangnan has never met Xiaodai in person, right? Old Lady Mo nodded and said, although the divine doctor of Jiangnan has never met Xiaodai in person, he is aware of her symptoms and medical history. Yang responded. Even Confucius, a sage, made mistakes. Let alone the divine doctor of Jiangnan who has never met Xiaodai. Misdiagnoses are normal. Hearing this, Elder Lady Mo found herself contemplating deeply. Did the divine doctor of Jiangnan actually misdiagnose? Upon hearing this, Zheng Xianjing almost laughed out loud. How shameless of Yang. Misdiagnosis? How could the divine doctor of Jiangnan possibly misdiagnose? And Yang, a novice village doctor, had the audacity to accuse the divine doctor of misdiagnosis? Absurd. Seeing Elder Lady Mo falling for Yang's words, Zheng Xianjing chuckled and said, as far as I know, traditional Chinese medicine is divided into internal medicine, surgery, neurology, and dermatology. Considering the divine doctor of Jiangnan's reputation in treating complex cases, I don't think he could have misdiagnosed. After all, he has been practicing medicine for decades and is already 60, with no known instances of misdiagnosis. Furthermore, the illness Guobao had is epilepsy, a condition he was born with. It is entirely different from Xiaodai's illness. Each doctor has their own specialty. Little doctor, I think it's too hasty for you to claim that the divine doctor of Jiangnan misdiagnosed, considering Xiaodai's well-being. Zheng Xianjing spoke logically, persuading Elder Lady Mo to nod her agreement. Upon reflection, the divine doctor of Jiangnan seemed to be the more reliable choice. The divine doctor of Jiangnan has cured many people, while Yang has only cured Yang Guobao. Comparing their experience, Yang is far less qualified. Wang Meifeng wanted to say something but was stopped by Zhou Suhua. After all, life was at stake, and they felt reluctant to interrupt. If Mo Hudi were to lose her life under Yang's treatment, Yang would be held responsible for her death. They invited Yang to help treat the illness, not to create hostility. As to whether they believe in Yang, it all depends on Elder Lady Mo. If anything were to happen, she wouldn't be able to blame anyone else. After some thought, Elder Lady Mo asked, so little doctor, what is your treatment plan? And what is Xiaodai suffering from? Yang responded, Xiaodai is presently suffering from severe malnutrition and blood dryness caused by internal warmth diseases. That's why she has been bedridden. He paused before continuing. My plan is to immediately open all the doors and windows in this room to let the air circulate. Then, Xiaodai needs to eat more nutritious foods, especially fish and meat, to replenish her energy. Finally, I will prescribe a formula and use acupuncture treatment. Within 6 months, Xiaodai will be cured. 6 months are just a conservative estimate. In fact, with Yang's skill, It only takes 2 to 3 months for a full recovery. Elder Lady Mo frowned slightly, but the divine doctor of Jiangnan expressly urged against exposing Xiaodai to sunlight or wind, and she is not allowed to eat oily and spicy foods. Little doctor, are you sure your treatment will work? This was a direct contradiction to the divine doctor of Jiangnan's orders. Yang explained, continuously closing doors and windows reduces air circulation, which can lead to indoor bacterial infection, and weaken the body's immune system, especially in the case of someone like Xiaodai who has been bedridden for a long time. As for diet, Xiaodai's illness doesn't restrict her food intake. Constant dietary restrictions wouldn't alleviate her condition, but rather lead to malnutrition, worsening her illness. Yang's argument made sense, leaving Elder Lady Mo speechless. Zheng Xianjing sneered at him under her lowered eyes. Did this Yang actually consider himself a divine doctor? He had the audacity to refute the divine doctor of Jiangnan. How shameless! Zheng Xianjing looked at Yang and mockingly asked, "So you're saying that Xiaodai must receive acupuncture?" "Yes," Yang nodded. "There's no other way." Zheng Xianjing continued, "But I heard that only seasoned practitioners of traditional Chinese medicine can perform acupuncture. After all, if a single acupoint is wrong, the consequences could range from paralysis to life-threatening." Chapter 164. Home Visit, Li Xianxian Commits Suicide _6. At these words, Mrs. Mo Sr. was taken aback. Xiaodai was the only bloodline of her daughter left, which she could not risk endangering. No matter whether it was whole-body paralysis or life-threatening, she could not bear it. Seeing Mrs. Mo Sr. in extreme panic, Zheng Xianjing added, "Acupuncture isn't a joke, even some regular large hospitals dare not do it. Divine doctor, can you ensure it's completely safe?" Finally finding an opportunity for revenge, and to show off in front of Mrs. Mo Sr., Zheng Xianjing naturally would not miss this opportunity. Once she saved Mo Hudi's life, Mrs. Mo Sr. would definitely thank her. At that time, she would become a great benefactor of the Mo family. Yang smiled lightly, saying, "Every operation carries a risk. I can't guarantee what might happen during the acupuncture treatment, but I can ensure that as long as the procedure goes smoothly and medication treatment is used in combination, Xiaodai will definitely recover within half a year." Any highly skilled doctor would never give 100% guarantee to their patients, because no one knows which will come first, tomorrow or an accident. No one can predict if there will be any rejection or loss of blood during the surgical procedure. Yang is just a doctor, she isn't a god, she can't stop accidents from happening. If an accident happens then, she would be labeled as a killer. Yang had witnessed too many medical disputes in her previous life, so she didn't want to risk her hard-earned second life by playing games with her future. Zheng Xianjing smiled. "Since the divine doctor cannot ensure it's completely safe, I think we should follow the method of the Jiangnan divine doctor. After all, the Jiangnan divine doctor has so much experience. Mrs. Mo, what do you think?" Mrs. Mo Sr. was in a dilemma now. As after all, Yang was recommended by Zhou Suhua. If she rejected Yang outright, she was afraid it would somewhat harm Zhou Suhua's face. But if she didn't refuse, it would risk Mo Hudi's life. Seeing Mrs. Mo Sr.'s dilemma, Yang smiled and said, "Practicing medicine and saving lives depends on destiny. Since Mrs. Mo Sr. doesn't trust me, I won't bother you any more." Seeing Yang about to leave, Yang Guobao shouted anxiously, "Mrs. Mo, please trust Sister Yang. Sister Yang can truly save Xiaodai." Zheng Xianjing walked to Yang Guobao, tenderly saying, "Good boy, don't interrupt while grown-ups talk." Yang Guobao pushed away Zheng Xianjing's hand, and quickly caught up to Yang. "Sister Yang." A malicious glimmer flashed in the depth of Zheng Xianjing's eyes. "Damn kid. Better if he falls and dies on the stairs." Mo Hudi turned her eyes to Mrs. Mo Sr. "Grandma." Mrs. Mo Sr. looked at Mo Hudi said, "Don't worry, Grandma knows what to do." After Wang Meifeng and Zhou Suhua greeted Mrs. Mo Sr. and Madame Zheng, they followed Yang. Wang Meifeng rushed to Yang, apologized. Yang, I'm sorry making you run here in vain." Yang smiled and said, "It's okay, Auntie Wang, I'm inexperienced and young, It's understandable that everyone doesn't trust me. As for Xiaodai's case, I just need to speak honestly and not regret. Trust cannot be forced. Hearing this, Zhou Suhua nodded in agreement on one side. It's really good that you can think like this, Yang. Xiaodai's case is complicated after all. If you insist on staying to treat her and something goes wrong, it'll be too late to explain. Sister and Yang, will Xiaodai get better? Yang Guobao was holding Yang hand, his voice holding a bit of a sob. Yang bent down, gently comforting. Guobao, don't worry. Xiaodai has natural fortunes. She will definitely get better. Really? Yang Guobao wiped his tears. Really? Niying nodded it. After getting in the car, Wang Meifeng finally got the chance to talk with Yang about other things. And also Yang, everyone is reacting well to the skincare products you made. My colleagues have ordered 16 sets this time. Do you have any ready stock? Wang Meifeng always reported good news, not worries, hence Yang did not know that the skincare products were initially returned by her colleagues. Wang Meifeng originally thought of keeping the skincare products for herself if nobody else wanted to buy them. Unexpectedly, a truly good product has nothing to fear from slander and defamation. Whether it's good or not, everyone has eyes and can see for themselves. Chapter 165. Home Visit. Li Xianxian commits suicide. Yang nodded. Sure, Aunt Wang, I will deliver it to you tomorrow morning. Zhou Suhua continued. Yang, it's still early, why don't you come and sit at our house for a while? Upon hearing this, Yang Guobao tagged along excitedly. Yes. Sister and Yang, come and play at my house with me. Later, I'll have my dad bring over my sister and Aunt Hua. Yang laughed. I'm afraid I can't today. I have some things to do in the city center later. It will be enough trouble for Uncle Yang to stop the car up front. There had been ongoing renovations at the shop for more than 10 days, and now many trivial matters awaited Yang. Upon hearing this, Yang Guobao pouted immediately, portraying an unhappy appearance. Yang consoled. Don't worry, Guobao, as soon as I have time, I'll definitely come and play at your house. Really? Yang Guobao was suddenly excited. Really? Yang nodded. Sister and Yang, let's make a pinky promise. Yang Guobao extended his little pinky to Yang. Yang hooked her little finger with his. Pinky promise, hang a nail, no changing for 100 years, whoever changes will be a puppy. Yang Guobao exclaimed in surprise. Sister and Yang, you know this too? Yang laughed softly. Because I also grew up from your age. After Yang left, Mo Hudi had been taking her medication from the divine doctor of Jiangnan on time, and her condition was gradually improving. Seeing Mo Hudi getting better and better, the smile on old lady Mo's face gradually increased. So many years had passed. She finally saw hope. The second day, the third day, Mo Hudi's condition remained very stable. By the afternoon of the third day, not only had Mo Hudi's condition not worsened as Yang had said, but she was even able to walk on her own. Old Lady Mo and Mo Fuhai were beside themselves with excitement. Old Lady Mo expressed her gratitude more than once, as it was fortunate that Zhang Xianjing was there to give timely advice, resulting in them not giving Mo Hudi acupuncture. If they had done the acupuncture, Mo Hudi would not have been in her current condition. Thank goodness. Old Lady Mo immediately sent a gift to Zhang Xianjing as a token of thanks. Upon seeing the gift, Zhang Xianjing knew that her judgment was not wrong. How could a despicable woman like Yang have the ability to heal? Fortunately, she acted fast and saved Mo Hudi's life. Seeing her daughter being so capable made Zheng Lingling extremely pleased. Xianjing, if you work hard, you can marry into the Mo family and become old Lady Mo's granddaughter-in-law. Granddaughter-in-law? Zhang Xianjing sneered in her heart. Her target was not Mo Baichuan. Compared to that man, Mo Baichuan was not even 1 in 10,000. Xianjing, Zheng Lingling implored discontentedly, pushing Zheng Xianjing. Are you still thinking about the eldest of the Mo family, that disappointing sixth son? Zheng Xianjing did not reply. Zheng Lingling drew a long breath, speaking with seriousness. Xianjing, you are a smart girl. You've never given me any worries growing up. But why are you so infatuated with this? Mo Qishan is a loser. A loser that even Zhao Jingrong looks down on. Tell me, How on earth can you like such a person? Just wait and see. Zhao Jingrong will regret her refusal one of these days. Zheng Xianjing curled her lip. Zheng Lingling was scared half to death. My darling, you haven't really taken a liking to that loser, have you? Zheng Xianjing stood up and pushed Zheng Lingling out the door. Mother, stop worrying so much. I have this under control. Just remember, only the best man in the world is worthy of me. After returning to her room, Zheng Xianjing lay in bed. Her mind kept drifting back to that scene she had inadvertently witnessed half a year ago. If she wasn't mistaken, Mo Qishan was far more complicated than he appeared to be. So she wanted to take a gamble on Mo Qishan. Now she needed to go to bed early, and then wake up early tomorrow to go congratulate the Mo family. Mo Qishan should have returned after being away for so long. However, chaos had descended upon the Mo family. Mo Hudi's condition suddenly worsened. It started with a low fever, then a high fever, and finally she fell into a coma. In the middle of the night, lights were on all over the Mo family's residence. Both practitioners of traditional Chinese medicine and Western medicine surrounded Mo Hudi's room. But none could determine the cause of her condition, let alone how to reduce her fever. Old Lady Mo was so worried that she was wiping away tears. What to do? What should they do now? At this critical time, it was Mo Fuhai who maintained his composure. Don't worry. Maybe this is just a normal reaction to the medication. Mrs. Lin, call Miss Xianxian right now and ask the divine doctor what is going on. Yes, sir, I'll do it right away. On the other end of the phone, Li Xiangxian's voice was terrible. She cried, I'm so sorry, grandfather and grandmother. I really didn't know that the divine doctor was lying to me. Mo Fuhai snatched the phone abruptly, angrily saying, that damn divine doctor dared to play with people's lives. Tell me what's his name? Where does he live? Overwhelmed with sobs, Li Xianxian gasped for air. He committed suicide out of guilt. Mo Fuhai, a man who had lived through half his life filled with battles, lost control for the first time. He smashed the phone violently. On the other end of the line, a malicious curve tugged at the corner of Li Xiangxian's mouth. Ai Yang would be married to a man castrated by the heavens. Mo Hudi was also killed by someone. The two stumbling blocks were gone. Her second half of life was now worry-free. Il-1 Xianxian shed tears while picking up a pen and slowly writing 2 characters on the paper. Suicide note. In her nearly 1,000-word suicide note, she expressed all of her regret to Mo Hudi. She had wronged Mo Hudi, so she could only repay her with her own life. After finishing the suicide note, Li Xianxian picked up a sharp dagger and slowly slit her wrist's radial artery. Blood dripped onto the suicide note, reflecting the stark black and white characters. Half an hour later, the urgent alarm went off. An hour later, several police officers went to the Mo family, explained the situation with Li Xianxian to Old Lady Mo and Mo Fuhai, and handed them a copy of her suicide note. Comrade Li Xianxian is currently in critical condition. The hospital has issued 3 critical condition notifications. She is an orphan with no family. The only contact person is you, so please prepare yourselves. Old Lady Mo cried. Why is Xianxian so foolish? Mo Fuhai also didn't expect that Li Xianxian would choose to prove her innocence through suicide. These continuous waves of events plunged the 2 elderly people into endless pain and self-blame. At this point, the servant, Mrs. Lin, said, Old madam, there's someone who might be able to save Xiaodai. Who? Mo Fuhai and Old Lady Mo grasped at this like the last straw. Mrs. Lin continued. It's that young divine doctor who came last time. Do you remember, old madam? He said that Xiaodai's condition would worsen within 3 days. Today is the 3rd day. Chapter 166. Uncle and nephew standoff, believe in Yang Yangle yes. And Nayang. Madame Mo took Auntie Lin's hand. Auntie Lin, contact the divine doctor and Ai Yang immediately. Auntie Lin responded. Okay, I will contact him right away. Ai Yang's home did not have a phone. If the Mo family wanted to get in touch with him, they had to contact Wang Meifeng first. Unfortunately, after calling many times, no one answered. Madame Mo grew increasingly anxious. Just as she was considering sending the driver to the Yang family's home, They heard footsteps from within the house. Grandfather, grandmother. Mo Baichuan walked in with a few doctors in white coats trailing behind him. Baichuan. Seeing Mo Baichuan, Mo Qishan and Madame Mo felt like they saw a beacon of hope. Madame Mo hugged Mo Qishan tightly, sobbing softly. Grandma, don't worry. Xiao Dai is destined to be lucky, she will be all right. Mo Baichuan continued. By the way, I want to introduce Dr. Ace, who came from overseas along with his students. Dr. Ace has an extraordinary medical skill and has even won an international award. Upon hearing this, Mo Fuhai and Madame Mo turned their attention to Dr. Ace and his students. Nice to meet you, Dr. Ace. Mr. and Mrs. Mo, nice to meet you. Mo Baichuan continued. Grandpa and Grandma, let Dr. Ace examine Xiao Dai first. Our family has already been swindled by a so-called divine doctor. We cannot afford to make the same mistake again. Medical science is advanced overseas. These so-called divine doctors should have been outdated long ago. Yes, Baichuan is right, Madame Mo nodded, leading Mo Baichuan and Dr. Ace upstairs. As soon as they entered the room, Dr. Ace said seriously, ignorance. Such plain ignorance. Sealing off windows and doors won't help the patient's disease, but rather cultivate bacteria. A patient's immunity is generally much lower than average, so you are bringing harm to her. Open the windows and doors immediately to maintain airflow in the room. These words were exactly what Enai Yang had said. Madame Mo instructed people to open the doors and windows immediately. Fresh air from the outside flowed into the room, making the air inside much more pleasant. People usually have a pale face when having a fever, but Mo Hudi on the bed was pale as a ghost. The students prepared medical equipment while Dr. Ace conducted a full-body examination on Mo Hudi. Mo Baichuan checked his watch before saying, Grandpa and Grandma, I will leave for a while and come back soon. If Dr. Ace needs anything, please cooperate with him. Mo Fuhai nodded. You go first, no need to worry about us. Mo Baichuan grabbed his coat and hurried out. By this time, the sky was beginning to light up. Dr. Ace continued to examine Mo Hudi. The atmosphere in the room was tense as Mo Fuhai and Madame Mo waited anxiously. As time passed, Dr. Ace eventually put down his stethoscope. Mo Fuhai and Madame Mo immediately approached Dr. Ace. How is Xiao Dai, Dr. Ace? Is there any hope for her? Dr. Ace responded. Given the current situation, there is generally no hope. However, there is one last method we can try. Tell us. Madame Mo hurriedly said. We will do anything to save Xiao Dai. Mo Fuhai echoed. Yes. Dr. Ace, as long as you tell us, we will cooperate. A total blood transfusion, Dr. Ace continued. However, this operation only has a 30% success rate. As guardians, please consider whether to proceed with this surgery. Total blood transfusion? Blood is the source of life in a human body. If all the blood drains out, accidents are likely to happen. A total blood transfusion might lead to multiple complications, and even if the patient recovers, their physical condition would not be as good as before. Enai Yang had never mentioned a total blood transfusion before. Madame Mo was very hesitant at the moment. After a while, Madame Mo resolutely said, No, we won't. No. Dr. Ace almost thought he had misheard. Yes, we want. Madame Mo turned to Auntie Lin. Auntie Lin, immediately have Old Wang take you to Gobeo's home and bring the divine doctor here. Compared with Dr. Ace's suggestion of a total blood transfusion, Madame Mo was now more inclined to believe in Enai Yang. Chapter 167. Uncle and nephew confront each other. Trust in Yang_2. After all, everything Enai Yang said 3 days ago had proven true. This time, she definitely wouldn't be fooled again. All right, madam. Aunt Lin turned and walked towards the door. Upon hearing these words, Dr. Ace angrily said, Lady Mo, what are you doing at such a critical moment? You're still choosing to trust those fraudulent quacks? Forgive me for saying, your Chinese backward medical approach, especially in a place where medical resources are not fully equipped, is impossible to provide hope for the treatment of difficult diseases. Xiao Dai may have been theoretically failed by the misapplication of medicine, but the actual murderer is the caregivers like yourselves. If they employ the procedure of blood replacement surgery, Mo Hudi has at least a 30% chance of recovery. If the Mo family continues to let quacks treat her, it's like pushing Mo Hudi directly into the grave. Preposterous. Absolutely ridiculous. Dr. Ace's face turned red with fury. Mo Fuhai continued. Dr. Ace, I don't deny that foreign medical technology is indeed very advanced, but you can't deny the existence of our divine doctor in China. The history of China has been handed down over 5,000 years and has produced many legendary doctors. Dr. Ace responded speechlessly. Now I finally know how the Qing dynasty fell. It's because of ignorant people like you. You will regret this. There will be no pill for regret later. As a doctor, the situation they hated the most was when patients clearly had a chance to survive, but were delayed by their family's decisions. Dr. Ace was so angry that he was at a loss for words. If it weren't for his students holding him back, he might have already turned violent. Let's go. Dr. Ace didn't want to stay here any longer. He led his students away from the Mo's house. Looking at Dr. Ace's retreating figure, Mo Fuhai turned to Lady Mo and asked, Erwin, have you really decided to trust this young divine doctor? Yes. Lady Mo nodded. I have faith in her, she'll be able to cure our Xiao Dai. Let's try it again. There was a far-off look in Mo Fuhai's eyes. Aunt Lin immediately went to Yang's house by car. It wasn't until approximate 2 hours later that the car once again appeared in front of the Mo family mansion. Lady Mo and Mo Fuhai personally met them at the door. Little divine doctor, you finally arrived. Madame Mo grabbed Nai Yang's hand tightly, like a drowning person clutching the last straw for survival. Yang. When Mo Fuhai saw Nai Yang, he was stunned. He hadn't expected that the divine doctor Lady Mo had been talking about was Nai Yang. Seeing Nai Yang somehow reassured him a lot, because he knew that Nai Yang never did anything she wasn't confident about. Nai Yang seemed a bit surprised too. Grandpa Mo? Lady Mo looked puzzled. Do you know each other? Mo Fuhai continued. Yang is the young friend I told you about who I met while fishing in Jinghua village. Lady Mo replied. What a wonderful coincidence. Little divine doctor, our Xiao Dai is in a critical situation right now. Please take a look at her quickly. All right. Nai Yang nodded, and they head upstairs together. Compared to 3 days ago, Mo Hudi's current situation was far more severe. Xiao Dai. Lady Mo covered her mouth, sobbing in low voice. Her emotional state was nearing the breaking point. Mo Fuhai sighed deeply and patted Lady Mo's shoulder, comforting her. Xiao Dai will be all right. Nai Yang sat by the bed, took Mo Hudi's pulse with a very serious face. A moment later, Nai Yang took a pill from her bag and put it in Mo Hudi's mouth. Yang, how is Xiao Dai now? Mo Fuhai asked anxiously. Not hiding anything, Nai Yang bluntly stated the situation isn't good. What do we do then? Is there really no hope left? Mo Fuhai continued to ask. Nai Yang continued. There's still hope, but you should mentally prepare for the worst. Oh, first try acupuncture with Xiao Dai. If she wakes up after that, then some Chinese medicine should be able to cure her. As the saying goes, the higher the hope, the greater the disappointment. Given Mo Hudi's current condition, Nai Yang couldn't give them much hope. She could only try her best. Mo Fuhai hesitated. So it seems Xiao Dai's life or death depends on this acupuncture? Yes. Nai Yang nodded. Although acupuncture has its risks, it's far safer than a complete blood transfusion. Chapter 168. Uncle and Nephew Standoff Believe in Yang_3. Madame Mo continued. All right, we'll be troubling the young divine doctor then. Please start acupuncture for Xiao Dai. All right. Nai Yang followed. Oh, 'twill also need a candle. Upon hearing this, a servant immediately went to prepare a candle. Nai Yang opened her acupuncture kit, revealing a row of gold needles against the gray-white interior. These gold needles cost Nai Yang 6 large Unity lottery tickets. Although silver needles were much cheaper, her master who taught her skills once told her that the effects of silver needles couldn't compare to gold needles. So Nai Yang gritted her teeth and bought gold needles instead. After leaving the Mo family, Dr. Ace found Mo Baichuan and lodged a complaint about Mo Fuhai and Madame Mo. After hearing Dr. Ace's words, Mo Baichuan also felt that his grandparents had acted improperly this time. After all, they had been deceived once. How could they still trust the so-called divine doctor this time? Such a muddle-headed decision. He was now curious to see what skills this so-called divine doctor had. After Mo Baichuan got out of his car, he quickly walked towards the villa. The moment he pushed the door open, he thought he was having an hallucination. The young girl was wearing a water blue chest dress, wide leg pants, and small leather shoes, just like a university student from oil paintings of the Republic of China. Mingming was plain and natural but had rosy lips and white teeth, beautiful yet bewitching. Was this Anai Yang? Mo Baichuan had an ominous feeling. Could it be that Anai Yang was the so-called divine doctor? This was too absurd, right? Without even thinking, he knew why Anai Yang was here. She was just trying to catch his attention. Such people really stop at nothing. A look of disgust appeared on Mo Baichuan's face as he strode into the room. Hearing the sound, Madame Mo immediately looked up. Chuan is back. Suppressing his anger, Mo Baichuan replied, Grandmother, Dr. Ace is a renowned doctor in M country. How could you anger him away? He said that there's a 30% chance of success, so he definitely has the ability to cure Xiaodai. Don't you realize that you're ruining Xiaodai's life by doing this? That voice sounded familiar. While heating the gold needles over the candle, Anai Yang glanced over. At first glance, she saw a face that annoyed her significantly. Why was he everywhere? Anai Yang subtly averted her gaze and focused on the gold needles in her hand. What are you talking about, Chuan? Madame Mo said, I'm Xiaodai's biological grandmother. Why would I harm Xiaodai? If anyone's going to harm Xiaodai, it's going to be Dr. Ace. Rest easy, the young divine doctor will definitely cure Xiaodai. Mo Fuhai nodded. Your grandmother is right. Young divine doctor? Mo Baichuan scoffed, his words full of disdain. You mean the noodle seller? The noodle seller? Hearing this, Madame Mo and Mo Fuhai both looked stunned. Mo Baichuan continued. Grandpa, Grandma, you don't know yet, do you? The young divine doctor you speak of is actually a noodle seller. Oh right, grandmother, the breakfast you eat every day is made by her. At this, not only were Madame Mo and Mo Fuhai stunned, even Anai Yang was shocked. So the old lady was Madame Mo. Fate truly is a mysterious thing. Before Madame Mo and Mo Fuhai could speak, Mo Baichuan continued. Grandma, Grandpa, don't tell me you believe that a noodle seller can cure Xiaodai? If she were truly so skillful, would she be selling noodles? Just as Anai Yang was about to speak, a deep voice suddenly came from outside the door. What's wrong with selling noodles? Can't a noodle seller be talented? Great nephew, aren't you brought up on grains as well? What right do you have to look down on noodle sellers? What right do you have to deny Yang Yang's abilities? The man outside the door walked in against the light, his handsome features gradually appearing in the air. Interestingly enough, Anai Yang also recognized this man. While he winked at Anai Yang, he walked towards her. Yang, my great-nephew is born in the year of the dog, so he loves to bite people when he has nothing to do. Don't bother with him, I believe you can cure Xiaodai. Brother Mo. Anai Yang looked at him a bit joyfully. Counting the days, she hadn't seen Mo Qishan for 2 or 3 months now. Mo Baichuan hadn't expected that Anai Yang, just to get close to him, actually hooked up with Mo Qishan too. That's just terrifying. Uncle Six, you've been deceived by this little girl. She's not as simple as you think. The usually calm and composed Mo Qishan was now blushing with anger. He loosened his tie in frustration. Chapter 169. Uncle and Nephew Standoff Believe in Yang_4. Mo Baichuan continued. She's just trying to get my attention. That's why she's not leaving any stone unturned to approach you all. Mo Qishan let out a faint laugh, looking at Mo Baichuan up and down before speaking in a slow tone. Nephew, you're flattering yourself a bit too much. Why would Anai Yang neglect a good-looking person like herself for Mo Baichuan? Is Mo Baichuan even 1/10 as good-looking as she is? Mo Baichuan took a deep breath. Everything I said is true. Until today, she tried to approach me in many ways, but I rejected all her attempts. She's a woman full of schemes. Nonsense. Mo Fuhai stood up and said. Yang Yang is not that kind of person. Having known Anai Yang for a while, Mo Fuhai deeply acknowledged her upbringing and character. Grandfather, Uncle 6. Anai Yang's aim is simple. She wants to please you all, then marry me smoothly and become the eldest son's wife of the Mo family. You all better wake up. Mo Baichuan could hardly wait for his family members to see Anai Yang's true colors. This woman is too intimidating, to the extent where she is able to fool all the members of the Mo family. Yang Yang is not blind. Would she choose you, nephew? Mo Qishan said as he turned to look at Mo Baichuan, pointing to his own head. I'm beginning to suspect that there's something wrong here, and it's more than just a little. After finishing the sentence, Mo Qishan slightly leaned towards Anai Yang. Yang Yang, don't mind him, he's not in his right mind. You just continue to help Xiaodai with the acupuncture treatment. Okay, brother Mo. Nayang nodded. Seeing how close Anai Yang and Mo Qishan were made Mo Baichuan even more infuriated. Uncle 6, you'll get Xiaodai killed by doing this. Mo Baichuan turned his head to look at Grandma Mo and Mo Fuhai. Grandfather, Grandma, please believe me, Anai Yang is just a noodle seller. How can she possibly cure Xiaodai? Uncle 6, even if you're fooled by this woman, you can't just watch Xiaodai walk toward the dead end. No matter how useless Mo Qishan is to the Mo family, his seniority is there. He will always be Mo Baichuan's Uncle 6. The Mo family places great emphasis on respecting the elders, and thus, Mo Baichuan can't confront Mo Qishan. He can only seek help from Mo Fuhai and Grandma Mo. Mo Qishan never found this nephew annoying before. But now he found Mo Baichuan irritating every aspect. Upon hearing this, Mo Qishan's face immediately darkened. Why can't a noodle seller have medical skills? Zhu Yuanzong, the founding emperor of the Ming dynasty, had been a beggar and a food peddler before he ascended to the throne. Can you deny his ability to govern because of his past? Nephew, have you been feeding your textbooks to dogs? So you've only picked up the skill to look down upon others? Anai Yang looked at Mo Qishan with surprise. Did Mo Qishan just show tough love? Surprisingly, this man is quite just. The corners of Anai Yang's mouth slowly curve into a soft arch, and her dimples appeared shallowly, like they could depress anyone beyond redemption. Mo Qishan subtly moved a little bit away, his figure blocking Mo Baichuan's view quite efficiently. So now only he could see that smile. Mo Baichuan clenched his fists. Uncle 6, you're going to regret this. Mo Qishan turned again to Anai Yang, hooking his lips. Yang Yang, will you make me regret this? Of course not. Anai Yang answered casually, as she pierced the last golden needle into Mo Hudi's Baihui acupoint. The needle just went in, and immediately turned black. At the same time, Mo Hudi, who was lying on the bed, slowly opened her eyes. Xiaodai! Both Mo Fuhai and Grandma Mo exclaimed in unison. Grandma and Grandpa, Mo Hudi spoke in a weak voice. What happened to me? Grandma Mo was overwhelmed with joy and started to cry. It's all right, Xiaodai, you're all right now. Mo Baichuan was stunned. Was this a coincidence, or just pure luck? Aside from her beauty, how could Anai Yang possibly save people's lives? Mo Qishan glanced at Mo Baichuan, then walked over to Anai Yang. Yang Yang, thank you. You're welcome. Anai Yang gave the prescription she had written to Mo Baichuan. According to this prescription, prepare the medicine once a day, continuous for 3 months. Xiaodai will be fully healed. Mo Qishan took the prescription. Okay. Grandma Mo walked over, holding Anai Yang's hand. She was so overwhelmed with emotions that she didn't know what she was supposed to say. Mo Qishan gently joked. Mom, you're going to scare Yang Yang. I'm just too happy, too excited. Grandma Mo choked back her tears. Little divine Dr. Yang Yang, I can't thank you enough. Thank you. Chapter 170. Uncle and Nephew Standoff, Believe in Yang Yang _5. Anai Yang smiled slightly. Madam, you don't need to do this, it's all part of a doctor's duty. Mo Baichuan stood by, with a very complicated look on his face. Now he finally understood that Anai Yang's medical skills were genuine. Her desire to be close to him was also real. Perhaps from the very beginning, she was seeking an opportunity through curing Mo Hudi, to gain his recognition. This game she was playing, It was much bigger than he thought. Old Madame Emo turned her gaze to Emo Baichuan. Chuan, aren't you going to apologize to Yang Yang? I will never apologize to this kind of woman. Emo Baichuan left angrily after giving Inai Yang a glance. On the side, Emo Kishin's eyes flashed dangerously, but it disappeared quickly. Once she confirmed that Emo Hudi was out of danger, Inai Yang left a small bottle of pills and proposed to leave. Old Madame Emo said, I will have the driver take you. Emo Chishin picked up his coat with a smile. I will take Yang Yang home. Inai Yang smiled and said, then I have to trouble brother Emo. This was her chance to thank Emo Chishin alone, to thank him for his trust and protection. Emo Baichuan looked at Inai Yang, and all that was left in his eyes were 4 words. Putting on a show. She was deliberately getting close to Emo Chishin just to make him jealous. Otherwise, she would have never taken an interest in Emo Chishin, a man who has never achieved anything. Emo Chishin, who had never achieved anything and also had simple thinking, was being used by Inai Yang. Although he wanted to pull Emo Chishin out of the mud, if Emo Chishin didn't want to stand up but instead chose to roll in the mud, it wasn't surprising that Zhao Jingrong had broken off their engagement. He deserved it. Emo Chishin and Inai Yang walked shoulder to shoulder towards the downstairs, followed by old Madame Emo and Emo Fuhai. As they walked down the stairs, they saw the elegantly dressed Zheng Xianjing walking in from the outside. As soon as Zheng Xianjing saw Inai Yang, her smile froze on her face, followed by an expression of thick sarcasm. How dare Inai Yang, who nearly killed Emo Hudi, show her face here? Didn't she have any shame? Zheng Xianjing steadied her heart and walked up to the group, greeting them politely. Grandfather Emo, Grandma Emo, 6th Uncle Emo. When old Madame Emo saw Zheng Xianjing, her smile was nowhere to be seen. She only curtly replied, Xianjing is here. If it weren't for Zheng Xianjing's meddling 3 days ago, Emo Hudi wouldn't have suffered, nor come close to death. What on earth is going on? Zheng Xianjing began to sweat nervously. By all rights, she had saved Emo Hudi's life. Old Madame Emo shouldn't react this way. What went wrong? Just yesterday afternoon, old Madame Emo had sent her a thank you gift. No, she had to shift the blame onto Inai Yang. Zheng Xianjing looked at Inai Yang and laughed. Little divine doctor, why have you come again? Do you think Grandfather Emo and Grandma Emo are easy to fool? Do you know 3 days ago, you nearly killed Xiao Dai. If not for her timely intervention, Emo Hudi would already be dead. Old Madame Emo turned her gaze to Zheng Xianjing. Xianjing, some issues should be left alone after a new chapter has begun. I didn't want to bring this up, but since you did, it's necessary that I say this. You who don't even understand the basic medical knowledge should refrain from acting as if you know everything. Otherwise, innocent people will be affected. Also, Yang Yang is now a benefactor to our Emo family, so I hope you show her more respect in the future. If it wasn't for the fact that Zheng Xianjing was Zheng's granddaughter, old Madame Emo would definitely have held her responsible. Upon hearing this, Zheng Xianjing visibly panicked. What did old Madame Emo mean? What did she mean by implicating innocent people? What did she mean by Inai Yang being the benefactor of the Emo family? After a while, Zheng Xianjing finally found her voice. Grandma Emo, what happened to Xiao Dai? Old Madame Emo snorted coldly. Thanks to you, Xiao Dai hasn't died yet. Having said that, old Madame Emo walked right past Zheng Xianjing. Zheng Xianjing's face turned pale. What on earth had happened? Having seen Inai Yang to the door, Emo Chishin said, Okay Dad Mom, you can go back to your room now. I'll take care of Yang Yang. After Emo Fuhai and old Madame Emo advised them to be careful, they turned and went back to their room. In a blink of an eye, only Emo Chishin and Inai Yang remained in the air. Emo Chishin then said, Yang Yang, wait for me here for a moment while I fetch the car. Chapter 171. Uncle and Nephew Standoff, believe in Yang Yang _6. Okay. Inai Yang nodded. Shortly after, Emo Chishin pushed over a Phoenix-branded bicycle. Yang Yang, don't look at me as Emo Baichuan's uncle. Actually, in everyone's eyes, I'm nothing but a wastrel who only knows indulgences, resented by all for being mediocre. Every person in my family is more accomplished than me. Even my fiancé has broken off our engagement because of this. I don't even have my own car at home. If you mind, I can drive one of the family's cars. And Young leaned to sit on the bike's back seat, smiling. It's all right, a bicycle is pretty good. After her rebirth, she had cycled almost daily, yet had never tried the back seat. Yang, Emochishin continued. Knowing that I'm a wastrel despised by everyone, would you still be willing to be friends with me? And Young slightly smiled, responding, why wouldn't I? I'm friends with you because of who you are, not your status. When she first met Emochishin, and Young didn't know about his status. Status is not important. All she needed to know was that Emochishin was a person worth trusting. Hearing this, Emochishin's mouth traced into a smile. Then let's get going. Hold on tight, Yang. The moment he finished speaking, Emochishin pedaled forward, and the bicycle shot off like an arrow that left the bowstring. And Young never knew that a bicycle could be ridden so fast, and she was so frightened that she tightly clutched the corner of Emochishin's clothes. There was a gust of fresh wind carrying a mild scent of tobacco. In a short while, they reached Jinghua village. The bike was going too fast. Before the villagers could make out who was on the back seat, the bike had already disappeared from their sight. Wasn't that Yang just now? It looked a bit like her. Could the guy pedaling the bike be Yang's boyfriend? He looks rather handsome. That lad does indeed seem spirited, but he was riding so fast, I didn't get a good look. I was thinking of introducing Yang to my nephew last time, but it looks like I won't get the chance now. I was planning to introduce Yang to my baby brother. Such a pity. Although the relationships between men and women at that time were not completely liberal, it was still acceptable for boyfriends and girlfriends to date normally, as long as they weren't behaving indecently and kissing or cuddling in public places. As they approached the Ni family's house, Emochishin stopped the bike. Yang, you should hurry home. In response, Yang said, let's ride over, and you can have a cup of tea before leaving. Aren't you scared your mom will misunderstand? Emochishin looked at her surprisingly. Happiness came so fast that he was a bit overwhelmed. And Yang laughed. If you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. What's so frightening about this? So Emochishin didn't refuse any further and rode the bike in. Enai Tsuehua and Enai Chingue were having a conversation in the courtyard. Seeing someone coming, they both looked in that direction. Enai Chingue's first reaction was, my goodness, this lad is handsome. He looked like an attractive actor fresh off the TV screens. Xiaoma. Enai Tsuehua looked surprised at Emochishin. Although she had only met Emochishin once, she deeply remembered his face, because at that time, she had thought of taking Emochishin as her son-in-law. Hello, Auntie. Emochishin greeted politely. And Yang hopped off the back seat of the bike. Brother Emo, this is Auntie and I. Hello, Auntie and I. Enai Chingue smiled. Hello. Xiaoma, come on in and sit. Enai Tsuehua enthusiastically ushered Emochishin into the living room. Enai Yang took out some snacks from her house to entertain Emochishin. Brother Emo, don't be shy. Eat whatever you want. Looking at the table full of snacks, Emochishin was indeed not shy and immediately peeled a piece of candy. It was quite sweet. Brother Emo, have some tea. Enai Yang then handed over a hot cup of tea. Emochishin stood up immediately, accepting the cup with both hands. Yang, you don't need to go through all the trouble. I'll be leaving shortly. Enai Yang smiled. It's okay, it's just a cup of tea. Emochishin took a cautious sip of the green tea. The tea had a strong aroma, yet it was sweet. The taste was excellent. A while later, a bang-bang sound came through the air. Emochishin looked up in confusion. What's that noise? Enai Yang explained. That's my mom pounding aloe vera. Pounding aloe vera? Enai Yang laughed. Come on, Brother Emo, let me show you. Emochishin followed Enai Yang's steps into the courtyard. There, they saw Enai Tsuehua holding a large mallet, pounding something in a stone mortar. Inside the mortar was a pale green transparent liquid, emitting a faint fragrance. Chapter 172. Uncle and Nephew Standoff. Believe in Yang _7 Enai Tsuehua is drenched in sweat. Emochishin rolls up his sleeves, revealing a robust and powerful wrist, approaches Enai Tsuehua. Auntie, let me do it. Enai Tsuehua paused for a moment then smiled. No need, you're our guest. We can't have you do this. Mo Chishan said, It's fine, auntie, I needed some exercise anyway. Without waiting for Tsuehua to respond, he grabs the pestle from her and starts pounding. The strength of a man was far greater than that of a woman. The bulky wooden pestle seemed weightless in Mo Chishan's hands. It seems that having a man in the house does have its advantages. Enai Tsuehua watches the young man before her, a satisfied expression in her eyes. Yang, you stay here and chat with Xiaoma, I'll go check on Yunyan. All right, Mum, you go. Enai Yang nods in agreement. Mo Chishan looks up at Enai Yang. Yang, what are you using this mashed aloe for? Enai Yang responds, for skincare products. Skincare products. Mo Chishan pondered for a moment, then continued. So do you do this every day? Enai Yang nods, almost. Sounds exhausting. Manual labor like this isn't suited for a girl like you. Mo Chishan added. Have you ever considered buying a blender? It could mash up all these aloes directly. Enai Yang, of course, had thought about this before. Currently, the market for aloe vera gel and facial cleanser was booming. Fresh aloe juice was needed almost every day. If she continued to manually mash the aloes, it would not only drain her physical strength, but also waste time. However, because technology at this time was not well developed, many advanced machines needed to be imported from abroad. Imported products were not only expensive but also scarce. Typically, customers had to pre-order from the seller. Moreover, the inconvenient transportation and poor economy significantly restricted the circulation of goods. It was not easy for ordinary people to purchase everyday goods. Even for Enai Yang, she had yet to find a way to buy a blender. Mo Chishan seemed to understand Enai Yang's predicament. He then said, I happen to have a friend who deals with these imported machines. I can ask him for you. Really? Enai Yang looked up in surprise, a flicker of joy in her eyes. Yes. Mo Chishan nodded. Why would I lie to you? Thank you so much, Brother Mo. Enai Yang said, if indeed Mo Chishan could help her find a solution, it would be a massive help for her. Mo Chishan laughed and replied, It's just a matter of a phone call. No need to thank me. Mo Chishan pounded the aloe nonstop without appearing to get tired. Even after a long period, there wasn't a single drop of sweat on his forehead. Enai Yang tried to take over, but was refused by Mo Chishan. He couldn't possibly stand by while a frail girl did such heavy work. His hands gripped the wooden pestle. Due to his excessive force, the veins on the back of his hands stood out. His hands were well proportioned and muscular, any hand fetishist's dream. In a short while, the aloe was pounded into a thick paste. Enai Yang began to laugh. Brother Mo, that's enough. That's enough? Mo Chishan looked stunned. He thought he was supposed to continue until nightfall. If he had known this, he would have pounded slower. Mo Chishan puts down the pestle. Are you sure this is enough? Yes, Enai Yang nods. It's enough, thank you for your hard work today, Brother Mo. Mo Chishan smiles, saying, It wasn't tiring at all. Consider it my daily workout. It was already in the afternoon. After resting at the Enai family residence for a bit, Mo Chishan decided to take his leave. Enai Yang said, It's already late. Why don't you stay for dinner, Brother Mo? Despite his desire to stay, Mo Chishan refused diplomatically. How could he impose himself on a family he had visited for only the second time? What if he left a frivolous impression on Enai Yang and Enai Tsuehua? He wanted to be perceived as a well-mannered young man. Mo Chishan was also a pragmatic person. On his way home, he stopped by the village's local store and bought some cigarettes and candies. These items altogether cost him 50 yuan, which made the store owner grin from ear to ear. 50 yuan. Normally, it would take him 10 days to sell this much. This young man was incredibly generous, like the god of wealth reincarnated. Young man, you seem unfamiliar. Are you related to someone in the village? The store owner asked. Old man, I'm a friend of Enai Yang. The store owner nods his head. Oh, you're a friend of Yang. Wait a minute, young man. With a puzzled expression, Mo Chishan pauses. The store owner grabbed a handful of candies and shoved them into Mo Chishan's hands. Yang is a good girl who has been very helpful to all of us. If he had known earlier that this young man was a friend of Enai Yang, he would have given him a discount. After leaving the store, if Mo Chishan saw a man, he would offer a cigarette. If he encountered a woman or a child, he would give out candies. All along the way, he gained praises from the villagers. A few children recognized Mo Chishan. "Brother Mo, we remember you. Are you here to see Sister Anayang?" Mo Chishan squats down and ruffles their hair. "I remember you too. You're Penghu, Xiaohua, and Gooden, right?" Yes. Brother Mo, you're so smart." Hence, besides the beautiful Sister Anayang, a handsome Brother Mo was added into the children's hearts. After Mo Hudi was out of danger, Mo Fuhai and Madame Mo finally found some time to visit Li Xianxian in the hospital. However, the elderly couple didn't manage to see Li Xianxian. They only saw the police officers standing guard outside the ICU ward. Li Xianxian was in critical condition due to her deep wounds. Mo Fuhai approaches one of the officers. "Officer, how is the investigation into the divine doctor of Jiangnan going? Our Xiaodai had no grievance with him. He couldn't possibly harm Xiaodai without a reason. There must be someone behind all of this." Chapter 173. Mr. Mog, humble and mysterious, invites guests to dinner. _1 Mo Fuhai was no fool. He knew that there were still many twists and turns to this issue that needed to be unraveled. They had never seen the divine doctor from Jiangnan. It was impossible for him to deliberately prescribe the wrong medication to Mo Hudi. Moreover, the divine doctor had no reason to ruin his lifelong reputation. After all, the title of divine doctor is not easily attained in a short time, and his current honor was hard-won. The only person related to the whole incident about Mo Hudi was Li Xianxian. Mo Fuhai couldn't believe that Li Xianxian had no fault in it as well. The officer looked at the file in his hands and said, "Mr. Mo, don't worry, we will thoroughly investigate this matter. According to our current investigation, the suspect's full name is Fang Zhizhong from Dongwu City, and he's 61 years old this year." Fang Zhizhong? At these words, both Mrs. Mo and Mo Fuhai were stunned. Mrs. Mo suddenly grabbed the officer's hand, her emotions out of control. "What did you say his name is?" "Fang Zhizhong." Mo Fuhai continued. "Fang as in square, Zhi as in wisdom, and Zhong as in middle?" "Yes." Officer nodded. Suppressing the shock in his heart, Mo Fuhai asked, "Does he have any other family members?" "No." The officer shook his head. The suspect, Fang Zhizhong, had a son, but unfortunately he died in a car accident 10 years ago. "It's him." Mrs. Mo burst into tears. "It's him. He came for revenge." Mo Fuhai's expression also darkened. No wonder. Seeing the old couple's reactions, the police asked, "What's going on?" Mo Fuhai sighed. "It's all old history. We didn't think that he would lie in wait until now because of this. Hey, raced the story. 10 years ago on a stormy night, Mo Hudi's parents had a car crash with a black car on their way home. Mo Hudi's parents and the driver of the black car were killed on the spot. That black car driver's father was Fang Zhizhong. No wonder the divine doctor from Jiangnan refuses service to people surnamed Mo and Yang. Because Mo Hudi's father's surname was Yang. No wonder the divine doctor never reveals his face. So, that was the reason." After hearing this, the two officers also sighed. "Does Li Xianxian know about the grudges and grievances between Fang Zhizhong and your Mo family?" The police continued to ask. "Or does anyone else know about this?" If Li Xianxian knew about this, then it could be inferred that Li Xianxian deliberately told the Jiangnan divine doctor about it. If this is the case, then the divine doctor is the principal culprit, and Li Xianxian would be the accomplice. Mo Fuhai shook his head. "Apart from Xianxian, no one in Beijing knows about it. We moved to Beijing after the incident happened." The Mo family's ancestral home, in fact, was in Jiangnan too, and Li Xianxian was just a 10-year-old child at that time. How could she possibly know about these things? Most importantly, the incident was taboo in the Mo family. The people who knew about it kept it among themselves, so no one would talk about it. Li Xianxian couldn't possibly foresee this. "Could it be that someone in your family talked about this?" The officer continued to ask. "That should not be it," Mo Fuhai replied. "This incident is taboo in our Mo's family. No one dares to mention it generally. With the case progression till now, It could basically be closed as malicious revenge because the only main suspect is already dead. But for the sake of caution, the police wouldn't easily close the case. Mrs. Mo clutched her face and sobbed. We should have suspected it earlier, when he said that he would not treat people with Mo and Yang surnames. We should have been on guard then. Poor Xian got implicated. Mo Fuhai sighed. Xian, the child, wasn't at fault. The main responsibility is on us, we were careless. The police left the hospital after taking their statements. Mo Fuhai and Mrs. Mo found Li Xiangxian's chief doctor. Dr. Wang, how is Xian now? Dr. Wang looked very serious. The patient's current situation is very critical. Her will to survive is very weak. Whether she will wake up or not depends on her fate. Mrs. Mo continued. Can we go in and see her now? The doctor shook his head. Not yet. She needs to be transferred to the general ward after a week. Only then can her family visit. Chapter 174. Low-key and mysterious Mr. Mog, treating guests to a meal _2. In the center of Beijing, there is an upscale tea house. Many business people choose to negotiate here, and of course besides businessmen, there are also many high-ranking officials and wealthy young masters. In an antique private room, the subtle music notes and the scent of sandalwood fill the room, giving an illusion of being in an ancient time. Through the colorful beaded curtain, one can vaguely hear respectful work reports. If you listen carefully, you'll find that these voices are all speaking very good French. Mr. Mog, at 10:30 tomorrow morning, someone will come from M country. Who do you think we should get to meet them at the airport? Also, the heads of the Li, Wang, and Zhao families have all invited you to their parties. Shall we just reject them all as we have always done before? The man lazing on the sofa has a cigarette between his fingers. The smoky haze blurs his handsome features. When he speaks, it's also in fluent French. My time is not to be spent on irrelevant people. For everything else, you can handle it. By the way, I see that Mo Baichuan has been quite idle recently. Figure out some work to give him. At this, everyone looked incredulously at the man on the sofa. When did Mo Baichuan offend Mr. Mog? With Mr. Mog's status, the Mo family wouldn't even be worth mentioning in his sight. There's no need for him to go out of his way to make life difficult for a small fry like Mo Baichuan. I have to go. I have other things to attend to. The man crushes his cigarette, stands up, and heads for the exit without giving the others a chance to respond. Two foreign assistants with blonde hair and blue eyes immediately stand to see him out. Just as he's almost at the door, the man pauses as though recalling something. He looks back and says, "Oh, and get me a blender, imported good quality." After a pause he adds, "It's for making skincare products." Skincare products? The two assistants are taken aback. When did Mr. Mog start going into the skincare business? When do you need it? By tomorrow at the latest. The man responds, "All right." Though it's hard to import products at such short notice, especially obscure items like blenders, no one questions who Mr. Mog is. As long as he gives the word, even the stars would be plucked from the sky and personally delivered to him. Wherever he goes, Mr. Mog is a symbol of power. After giving these instructions, the man leaves the tea house, leaving the two assistants looking at each other in bewilderment. Zhao Jingrong, dressed flamboyantly, walks into the main hall of the tea house. Because she received reliable gossip that Mr. Mog would be visiting the tea house today, Zhao Jingrong naturally came to accidentally bump into Mr. Mog. With her credentials, as long as she's willing to put in the effort, and as long as Mr. Mog isn't blind, he is sure to fall for her. Once she wins over Mr. Mog, then she will be the most honored woman in the entire Beijing. With this thought, Zhao Jingrong lifts her chin high, her eyes filled with disdain wherever they fall. Suddenly, Zhao Jingrong tenses up. The familiar figure ahead looks somewhat familiar. The first thing that meets her gaze are polished leather shoes, then tailored custom suit pants, a white shirt paired with a black suit, a very successful businessman's attire. Moving further up, there's a sexy Adam's apple, a delicate jawline, thin lips, a high and straight nose like it was carved from a knife, and the slightly uplifted phoenix eyes, filled with infinite light, are like the starry sea. There's no lack of handsome people in this circle, but ones as handsome as this man are hard to come by. Zhao Jingrong's heart skips a beat wildly, But in the next second, the admiration in her eyes is completely replaced by thick disgust. Because she suddenly recognizes that this man is none other than her ex-fiancé, Emo-chishin. What a shame, such a good-looking face. How did it end up on Emo-kishin's face? If Emo-chishin wasn't a complete loser, he might have been worthy of her. What a pity. She doesn't need to guess why Emo-chishin would show up here. He must have known that she would come here today. So he came here to wait by the rabbit's den, hoping to create an accidental meeting. Such a man is really horrifying. Isn't he done already? They're clearly divorced, yet he still wants to pester her. Just like a fly. Disgusting. Chapter 175. Mr. Mogg, humble and mysterious, invites guests to dinner as for a lady of her caliber. How could she possibly be suitable for a good fur? Nothing like Emo-chishin. Zhao Jingrong swallowed her disgust and walked straight to Emo-chishin. Emo-chishin. Yes. Emo-chishin raised an eyebrow slightly. Zhao Jingrong angrily said, Emo-chishin, what the hell do you want? Didn't I make it clear when I was at your Missouri family's place last time? We won't have any relationship in the future. Can you please be aware of your own situation? Is it fun to keep pestering me like this? Does he have no shame at all? Emo-chishin chuckled. Ma'am, it seems like you're the one who's not realizing your own situation. Is it fun to throw yourself at me like this? Throw herself at him? Would she throw herself at this loser? Zhao Jingrong snorted lightly, her eyes filled with sarcasm. I would throw myself at you? Don't daydream. If that's not the case, could you please step aside? Emo-chishin looked down on Zhao Jingrong and spoke slowly. Good dogs don't stand in the way. The last sentence, although a dirty retort, came off rather elegantly from his lips, without a hint of discord. With that, Emo-chishin pushed past Zhao Jingrong, strides towards the exit whilst taking out a handkerchief from his pocket to carefully wipe his fingers, as if they'd been dirted. Upon passing a garbage bin, he promptly threw the soiled handkerchief in. This scene had Zhao Jingrong trembling with fury. For someone so despised, how dare he treat her like this? Emo-chishin walked directly out to the tea room, pushing away a Phoenix brand bicycle, and left. A bicycle? This loser isn't even ashamed of riding an old bicycle. Indeed, you can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. Seeing this, Zhao Jingrong's eyes filled with disdain, and much of her anger dissipated. Although a bicycle is a rarity in this era, and an unattainable luxury for the average family, in the wealthy circles, the cost of a bicycle is less than what they'd spend on an afternoon tea. Emo-chishin will only ever amount to riding a bicycle in this life. Second floor of the tea room. Two blonde-haired, blue-eyed men stood on the balcony. One of them exclaimed, Why would our Mr. Mogg go out on a bicycle? It just didn't fit his persona. For someone like Mr. Mogg, at the very least he should be chauffeured around in a private jet, or if not, at least a car. What the hell is with the bicycle? Who would believe that the mighty Mr. Mogg's vehicle of choice would be a bicycle, if they hadn't seen it for themselves? It's truly a subversion of one's sense of reality. Another replied, Mr. Mogg keeps a low profile. I've heard even his parents and friends don't know about his achievements. My God. That's seriously low-key. Ordinary people, if they have any achievement, can't wait for everyone to know about it. But Mr. Mogg, he keeps his success to himself. NI family's home. NI Yang's skincare products have been selling extremely well recently. NI Yang calculated that she had made 2,000 yuan so far from her skincare line. Adding in her previous savings and deducting daily expenses, NI Yang currently had a total of 4,250 yuan in her account. Just then the voice of NI Tsuehua could be heard from outside. Yang, Xiaomo's here. NI Yang promptly put away the money. Oh, he's here. Emo-chishin didn't arrive alone. A man who looked somewhat like a sidekick accompanied him. Brother Emo. Emo-chishin nodded. This is my friend Wu Darning. He's the middleman dealing with those imported mixers. Hello, Sister Yang. Wu Darning bowed his head to NI Yang. Sister Yang? Is she that old? It felt rather awkward to be called Sister Yang by someone who looked nearly twice her age. NI Yang was taken aback for a moment, then said, Hello, Mr. Wu. Wu Darning was shocked. Sister Yang, there's no need for formalities. We're all friends here. Just call me by my first name. Call him Mr. Wu. He's afraid that Brother Six will beat him up. Mo Qishan continued. Yang, the mixer that Wu Darning brought over for you is here. Really? And Yang was somewhat surprised. Yep. Mo Qishan nodded. It's in the yard right now, come and take a look. And Yang followed Mo Qishan out. There was a blue farm truck parked with a grayish-green machine in the yard. The machines of this period hadn't undergone much improvement, so they were quite heavy and bulky. Chapter 176. Mr. Mog, humble and mysterious, invites guests to dinner _4. Yang, does this look okay to you? Mo Qishan continued to ask. And Yang nodded. Yes, it's okay. Thank you, Brother Mo. Mo Qishan smiled faintly. No need to thank me. I didn't do much. And Yang turned to Wu Darning. How much does this machine cost? Wu Darning said. 500 yuan. 500 yuan? Is it so cheap? As far as Yang knew, ordinary color TVs in the market are selling at high prices of 1,000 to 1,500 yuan now. Regular black and white TVs are also around 500 to 600 yuan, not to mention large items like a blender. And Yang had previously asked about prices from secondary dealers too. To know that the price of a blender starts from at least a 5-figure sum. And even with such a high price, it wasn't available immediately, there was a waiting time, and an uncertain one at that. This 500 yuan was beyond Yang's expectations. Seeing Yang's reaction, Wu Darning rushed to say, Sister Yang, if you think it's expensive, we can still negotiate the price. No, it's not that, Yang continued. Won't you lose money if you sell it to me for 500 yuan? Wu Darning laughed. No. How can we businessmen make a loss? Sister Yang, let me tell you the truth. This machine was previously reserved by another buyer who paid 2/3 of the deposit, but later breached the contract. I don't need this machine, so I'm anxious to sell it off. If you think the price is not right, we can still negotiate. Upon hearing this, Yang nodded. No wonder it was so cheap. It was because of this reason. So it means she was quite lucky. This kind of chance is equivalent to winning a 5 million yuan lottery. Yang then said, Wait here, I'll go get the money for you. All right. Wu Darning nodded. After Yang left, Mo Qishan quietly gave Wu Darning a thumbs up. Wu Darning grinned sheepishly. In fact, there was no such defaulting buyer at all. And Wu Darning wasn't a trader of imported goods either. He was just delivering lines according to the script. And the director of this act was Mo Qishan. Mo Qishan knew Yang would not accept this machine for nothing. And if he tried to give her such an expensive gift, it might backfire, so he had to make up a story. The actual price of the machine was 20 times the 500 yuan. Soon, Yang came out with the 500 yuan. You count. Wu Darning took the banknotes and counted them. It's all there. Sister Yang, where would you like us to put this machine? Yang thought for a moment, then said, Could you please help me put it in the living room? All right. The two men got up on the truck and carried the 200-pound machine down to the living room. Thank you so much, here, have some tea. Tsuehua brought over 2 cups of tea. Thank you, Auntie. Mo Qishan took the cup and politely replied, No trouble at all. Wu Darning quickly added, Yes, it's no trouble at all. After finishing their tea, Mo Qishan and Wu Darning did not stay long. They quickly left the Ni family's house. This time, Yang packed lots of goodies for Mo Qishan again. She also gave quite a few to Wu Darning. Wu Darning dared not refuse, took them nervously, and as soon as he got in the car, immediately handed all the snacks back to Mo Qishan. Even if he had 100 times the courage, he wouldn't dare to eat Kuihua's food. Seeing all the snacks returned, Mo Qishan's expression brightened slightly. The things Yang gave were only for him. An eerie silence fell in the car. Wu Darning initiated a conversation. Brother Six, our sister-in-law Six is really beautiful. Mo Qishan narrowed his eyes, turning to look at Wu Darning. You were looking at her? Realizing the implications of his words, Wu Darning, terrified, hurriedly said, No, I wasn't. If you weren't looking at her, how would you know she's beautiful? Wu Darning. He wished he could vanish on the spot. A chilling voice came again. You won't have your bonus for this month. At this moment, Wu Darning wished he could slap himself. It's all because of your loose lips. It's all because of your loose lips. It's all because of your loose lips. On the way to the village, they didn't encounter many people. However, on their way back, they met many villagers who came to watch the commotion. There was also a group of children running after the car. The car was a rarity at this time, usually seen only in the city. The car windows were made of special material. You could see outside from the inside, but you couldn't see inside from the outside. Chapter 177. Mr. Mogg, humble and mysterious, invites guests to dinner _5. Emochishan lazily leaned back in his chair, crossing his legs, slowly unwrapped a candy and popped it into his mouth. So sweet. The candy from Yang Yang was really tasty. It was a very casual posture, but he exuded an aristocratic aura. After Emochishan and Wu Darning left, Yang tried using the mixer, and found that its features were really powerful. Not only could it smash things up, it also had an automatic peeling function. However, the only downside was that it was too noisy. After all, the technology wasn't as mature as in the future. A bit of noise was understandable. Overall, the 500 yuan was really well spent. No, it was more like getting more than you bargained for. Normally, 500 yuan wouldn't even be able to buy an imported mixer. Yang, is this the mixer you're talking about? Chinggui walked in from outside, asked with curiosity on his face. Yang nodded. Chinggui laughed and said, "That Xiaoma is really impressive. He could even get an imported machine. Yang, this must be very expensive, right?" Yang replied, "Actually not that expensive, just so happened I got a good deal. Mr. Mogg's friend was in a hurry to sell it, so it only costed 500 yuan. Although 500 yuan may be equivalent to Chinggui's annual income, getting an imported machine at this price was still cheap." Following on, Chinggui said, "Yang, you're so lucky. By the way, I have a few colleagues who need skincare products. Do you have any in stock now?" The skincare products that Yang made were really effective. Good word spread mill by mill, 10 by 10. During this time, Chinggui had already helped her sell more than 20 sets. And Yang didn't take Chinggui for granted. She not only provided Chinggui free skincare products, but also gave her 1 yuan commission per bottle, totaling 2 yuan per set. For Chinggui, this 2 yuan came incredibly easily. All she had to do was pitch the products a bit, and the skincare buyers would be immensely grateful. Now, she is really popular in her company. Chinggui had always considered Yang as her lucky star. Ever since Yang moved here, her days had been increasingly prosperous. Yang said, "I have 2 sets left, Aunt. How many sets do you need?" Chinggui smiled and said, "I need 5 sets. You can give me 2 first and I'll deliver them to them." "Okay." Yang nodded, and turned to go into the room to get the skincare products. When she went to bed at night, Yang laid in bed and thought hard. Since there's a growing market demand for her skincare products now, she has to start preparing some things. Firstly, she needed to register a trademark. Secondly, she needed to apply for production and health licenses and other documents. Lastly, she needed to research new products. Just selling facial cleanser and aloe vera gel wouldn't work. Watching the store being about to finish its renovation, these 3 major things had to be taken care of immediately. Otherwise, when everything piles up, there wouldn't be enough time. Yang had always been an action-oriented person. Early the next day, she went downtown to apply for licenses. This era had few individual businesses, and people's awareness of trademarks was weak. Even fewer people would apply for trademarks. It didn't require lots of applications as it does in the future, followed by lots of reviews. Yang only spent a day to get all the licenses in order. The trademark that Yang registered was Ice Skin Jade Face. This name was common and easy to understand in this era. If put in the future, it would not be outdated, and it clearly indicates that the products sold are skin-related. Having registered the trademark, Yang went back home and spent the night designing the bottle and packaging for the skincare products. If you decide to make skincare products, you must normalize the process. Yang was never a sloppy person. and Yang had good hands-on skills. The things she drew were lifelike, just like pictures taken by a camera. They were just beautiful. Mom, what do you think of this bottle and packaging? Yang showed the finished design sketches to Tsuehua. Tsuehua nodded continuously. It looks good. It looks good. Tsuehua from the past never knew that her daughter was so capable. Even though she was just a junior high school graduate, she was able to read, draw, cook, and excel in medical skills. The day after she confirmed the design sketch, Yang found a factory, ordered a batch of bottles and packages, and paid a 500 yuan deposit. After she left the factory, Yang paid a visit to the traditional Chinese medicine store, where she bought some lingzhi, monk's hood, Asarum seboldii, Atractylodes macrocephala, Angelica dihurica, Gastrodia elata, and other Chinese medicinal materials. Chapter 178. The Low-Key and Mysterious Mr. Mogg treats guests to dinner _6. As recorded in the Compendium of Materia Medica, these herbal medicines all have excellent freckle-removing effects. That's right, the new product that Yang is launching is designed for freckle removal. Because once a woman has had a child, more or less, she will get some freckles on her face. In the future generations, those freckle-removing skincare products will be very popular. After returning home, Yang began to make her freckle-removing face cream. Yang first ground the purchased herbal medicines into powder with a blender, then added aloe juice, milk, cucumber juice, and stirred it into a paste. Then she added distilled water and other secret ingredients. Only then it was finished. The final face cream was yellow-green in color, with a faint scent of herbal medicine, very refreshing and pleasant. Since Chengui had a few faint freckles on his face, Yang gave it to him to try. Freckle removal products surely won't produce immediate results. It wasn't until the third morning that Chengui's surprised voice came from the yard. Yang, the color of the freckles on my face has started to fade. Chengui, in order to see the effect, intentionally left a freckle untreated. Now the color of the other freckles on his face has significantly faded. Only that untreated one remained yellow-brown. Originally, Chengui didn't think this thing could remove freckles, but he didn't expect that Yang would give him such a big surprise. Congratulations, Aunt Yang opened her mouth with a smile. No woman doesn't love beauty, so at that moment, Chengui couldn't stop smiling. It's me who should be thanking you. After that, Chengui asked, Yang, do you want to sell this freckle-removing face cream? Not for sale yet. Yang continued. I'll give you some samples. Distribute them to those who have bought facial cleanser and aloe gel. If they like it, they will definitely come back for more. There are very few freckle-removing products in this era, and there are even fewer with good effects. So, just by relying on Chengui's recommendation, most people certainly wouldn't believe it. Therefore, proof was needed through actual performance. The sample bottles were small, enough for about 3 days' usage, and by the time the cream was used up and the effect was visible, everyone who had sampled it would surely want to buy more. Chengui took the samples, nodding approvingly. Yang, you are so smart. Not only could this strategy attract many customers, but it could also win over hearts. A free bottle of freckle cream. Who wouldn't be happy? Because the freckle cream worked so well, and Yang worked overtime to make plenty more. At this moment, Chengui came in from outside. Yang, we are running out of aloe vera. Yang had indeed planted a lot of aloe vera before, but because she had been making facial cleanser and aloe gel frequently lately, there wasn't much aloe vera left in the vegetable garden. Yang thought for a moment and then said, In that case, Mom, could you go around the village tomorrow and let them know that we're buying aloe vera? 1 cent per pound. Aloe vera is a very common plant because it has the effect of healing burns. Almost every household in Jinghua village has planted it. Moreover, aloe vera is a kind of propagating plant. Usually, after successfully planting one, it will proliferate into many more. Suehua nodded her agreement. Okay, Yang. The next day, Suehua, holding her baby, went to the big locust tree at the center of Jinghua village. Because there was no television or mobile phones in this era, people would gather together to chat during their free time, sharing each other's gossip. Therefore, almost every village has a gathering point. When idle, the women of the village would gather and chat. Whose daughter had a bad marriage, whose son got admitted to college, which couple had a fight last night. The latest gossip could always be heard at the gathering point. And the locust tree in the center of the village was the gathering point for Jinghua village. By the time Tsuehua arrived, the women were already chatting lively. A few older women were chatting fervently, while the young girls and wives listened with interest. Seeing Tsuehua coming, everyone greeted her warmly. Tsuehua is here. Come and sit down. These are the melon seeds roasted by my family. Have some. These are the ripe persimmons from my garden. Not only was Tsuehua beautiful, but she was also very honest and never gossiped about anyone. In addition to all the help that Anai Yang had given to the villagers, Tsuehua had also become one of the most popular women among these ladies. Chapter 179. Mr. Mog, humble and mysterious, invites guests to dinner _7. Everyone would vent their grievances and share fresh gossip with Anai Tsuehua first because she could keep a secret and never laugh at others. After Anai Tsuehua sat down, she told everyone about Anai Yang's plan to buy aloe vera. Everyone was stunned when they heard it. Yuans per kilogram? Was Anai Tsuehua joking? For Jinghua village inhabitants, the aloe vera was an insignificant wild plant. Even the local vegetables were only sold at 5 cents per kilogram. Yet this wild plant was being sold at yuans per kilogram. In the eyes of the villagers, the price of yuans per kilogram was astronomical. Tsuehua, don't joke with us. Exactly, if you keep speaking like this, we will take it seriously. Anai Tsuehua laughed and said, I'm not joking, my daughter Yang is really buying aloe vera at yuans per kilogram. Moreover, why would I joke about something like this? You're not joking with us? Everyone was doubtful. Anai Tsuehua nodded seriously. Really? I'm not fooling you. When will your Yang start buying? Anai Tsuehua continued. As long as there is, we will buy it any time. Anai Yang said that good goods were not afraid of stockpiling. Therefore, no matter how much aloe vera people brought, they would accept it all. So, does your Yang want the root, or not? It was best to clarify this. Anai Tsuehua replied. No need for the roots. You folks can just cut the whole aloe vera with a knife. After Anai Tsuehua finished speaking, those who were still chatting disappeared in an instant. Everyone went back to harvest aloe vera. When everyone had left, Anai Tsuehua also took the child home. Shortly after she arrived home, a villager came with half a bag of aloe vera. Anai Tsuehua had the scales ready, 31 kilograms, a total of 3 yuan and 1 cent. When the villager took the 3 yuan and 1 cent in hand, he was still in a daze. Only then did he truly believe that Anai Tsuehua hadn't lied to them. The more villagers came to the Anai family to deliver aloe vera, they went in with aloe vera and came out with money in their hands. Almost everyone had a smile on their face. In this era, it is not hard for someone who knows how to do business to earn money, but it is difficult for these honest villagers to make money. Common farmers work hard in the fields all year round and can't make 100 or 80 yuan. But today, they only sold a little aloe vera and made 3 or 4 yuan. You should know, aloe vera is much easier to manage than the crops in the field. It seems, they can plant more aloe vera next spring. Since Anai Yang came to Jinghua village, their days in the village had been getting better and better. It seems that Anai Yang was truly their lucky star. After purchasing the aloe vera, Anai Yang rode her bike to the city. The shop renovation had been completed, and the final cleanup had begun. In 3 days, the shop could officially open for business. At this moment, Wang Jinfang was busy setting up tables and chairs. Seeing Anai Yang walking in, Wang Jinfang greeted her with a smile. Yang is here. Aunt Jinfang. Anai Yang continued. Where are Uncle Tiniu and the others? Wang Jinfang replied. Your Uncle Tiniu and the others are cleaning the kitchen and arranging the kitchen utensils. Oh. Anai Yang nodded. Aunt Jinfang, I have something to discuss with you. Go ahead. Wang Jinfang wiped her hands on her clothes and sat opposite Anai Yang. Anai Yang continued. I want to invite you and Aunt Zhou to work in the noodle restaurant after it opens. The salary will still be 2 yuan a day. I have already spoken to Aunt Zhou about this, what do you think? Anai Yang was busy with her skincare business, so if she didn't hire 2 more people for the restaurant, She wouldn't be able to handle it. After considering all aspects, Zhou Qingshang and Wang Jinfang seemed to be the best choices. Zhou Qingshang was educated and reasonable. Although Wang Jinfang was a bit spirited in character, sometimes a spirited person was necessary to rule out evil. Anai Yang had experience running a catering business in her past life. She knew that sometimes there would be some extremely difficult customers, and even some who would come to cause trouble. Zhou Qingshang and Wang Jinfang could complement each other's personalities. Upon hearing this, Wang Jinfang looked at Anai Yang in surprise, unable to close her excited mouth. This was simply a surprise from heaven. 2 yuan a day, 60 yuan a month, 720 yuan a year. My goodness! She had not earned this much money in 3 years. Upon hearing this, Wang Jinfang nodded repeatedly. I am willing. I am willing. Anai Yang smiled and took out the labor contract. Then please sign the labor contract. The labor contract system was not yet enforced at this time, but Anai Yang had seen too many things in her past life. The human heart was too difficult to measure, so some things that should be signed must be signed. Although Wang Jinfang couldn't read, she trusted Anai Yang. Yang, I can't read. Can I press a handprint for you? Anai Yang nodded and flipped the contract to the last page. Yes, you can press a handprint here. The labor contract was in 2 copies, one for Wang Jinfang and one for Anai Yang to keep. Now that the shop was officially finished, Anai Yang was ready to invite everyone for a big meal. So she talked to Wang Tiniu about this matter. Uncle Tiniu, I am going to the vegetable market now to buy some food. You invite everyone to come to my house for dinner tonight. Make sure they bring all the old people and children from their homes. Don't keep formalities with me. Anai Yang is a grateful person. She always remembered the matter from last time, and because of that, she had the idea of leading the whole village to prosperity. Otherwise, she would not have bought aloe vera from the villagers. There is a reward for everything you do. Since the villagers of Jinghua village showed her the warmth of brightness, she would not behave like an ingrate. Wang Tiniu was a little embarrassed. Yang, you don't have to go through so much trouble. It's not easy for you to make money. But Anai Yang did not give Wang Tiniu a chance to refuse. Uncle Tiniu, let's consider it settled then. I am going to buy food now. Elsewhere, Mo Hudi's condition had improved greatly in recent days. After drinking Chinese medicine for several days, she could now go downstairs and play with Yang Guobao on her own. Both old lady Mo and Mo Fuhai were pleased to see this. After so many years, they finally witnessed this scene. However, the situation of Li Xianxian was not very good. She was still in a coma and was in a state of semi-vegetative. The old lady Mo came to the hospital to visit Li Xianxian and was anxious. At this moment, the maid Lin Sa said, Old lady, the young divine doctor Anai Yang is so powerful, maybe she has a way to wake Miss Xianxian. Chapter 180. Investigation of Li Xianxian and her mother. Noodle restaurant opens. One. Upon hearing this, old Mrs. Mo's eyes lit up. That's right, we can find Anai Yang. Anai Yang's medical skills are so brilliant, she can definitely save Xianxian. In old Mrs. Mo's heart, Anai Yang was becoming an ever-present beacon of hope. Soon after, old Mrs. Mo continued. Isn't Anai Yang coming to see Xiaodia for a follow-up examination tomorrow? Yes. Mrs. Lin nodded. Old Mrs. Mo added. Then let's wait for Anai Yang to come and examine Xiaodai tomorrow. Then she can look at Xianxian. It was already late afternoon, and it wouldn't be appropriate to invite Anai Yang over at this hour. They could afford to wait a little longer. Old Mrs. Mo stayed in the ward for a while, then went to find the chief doctor to understand Li Xianxian's condition before leaving the hospital. Anai family. Since Anai Yang decided to invite all the villagers for dinner that night, she bought a lot of food. By Anai Yang's estimation, there were over 100 villagers in Jinghua village. A table of 10 would require 10 tables in total. In these times when everyone was not exactly living in abundance, Anai Yang bought 30 kilograms of fat pork, 10 roosters, 20 pig's feet, 10 fish, and some tofu skin, kelp, duck blood, and potatoes for vegetarian dishes. She planned to prepare 3 hearty dishes, a grilled fish, and simply blanch the vegetables in the fish soup for efficiency and convenience. 30 kilograms of pork cost her 90 yuan. 10 roosters were 30 yuan. 20 pig's feet were 15 yuan, and 10 fish were 3 yuan. Including the vegetables and white wine, Yang spent a total of over 160 yuan. 160 yuan could only buy you one meal at a street food stall in the future, but in this era, it could put up 10 tables of a lavish feast. All in all, it was money well spent. Seeing Yang bring so much food home, Cuehua was surprised. Yang, why did you buy so much? When will we finish all these? Yang said with a smile, Mom, our shop is now fully renovated, so I wanted to invite everyone for a feast to celebrate. Cuehua wasn't stingy. They had received a lot of care from the villagers since they moved to Jinghua village. That's right, we should treat everyone to a good meal. Speaking of which, Yang, did you buy extra meat? Vegetables could be had by everyone, it's the meat dishes that mattered. Yang nodded. Yes, I did. Rest assured, everyone will have a feast tonight. Cuehua helped Yang to unload the groceries, then started to wash the vegetables and chop the meat. Little Yin was lying in his cradle, holding a little rubber duck and playing on his own, not crying or making a fuss. His cuteness was truly heartwarming. Yang planned to make braised pork for dinner, with 10 tables in total and 30 kilograms of pork. Each table could have 3 kilograms. Braised pig's feet with soybeans, there were 20 pig's feet in total. Each table could have 2. Then there would be roasted chicken, 10 chickens in total. Each table could precisely have 1. The final main dish was grilled fish. As there were not enough stoves for everyone to cook and eat at the same time, Yang could only grill the fish first, then cook it in a pot with accompanying vegetables and serve it at the table. After confirming the menu, Yang began to prepare the braised pork. Because the pots at home were not large enough, the 20 kilograms of pork had to be cooked in 2 pots. With the braised pork simmering in the pot, Yang began to marinate the chicken. When the chicken was marinated, Cuehua had the oven fire ready. Luckily, the oven was spacious enough to accommodate 10 roosters comfortably. In no time, the small courtyard was filled with tempting aromas. It made one's mouth water just smelling it. When she had almost finished the dinner preparations, Yang went to the neighboring houses to borrow some tables and stools, and invited everyone to come for dinner. In just a while, the originally quiet farmhouse courtyard started to bustle with activity. The elderly, children, men, and women of the families all came. People were fairly straightforward in those times. If you were good to me, I would be good to you. There was no scheming or insensitivity. So everyone arrived bearing gifts. Some brought chicken eggs. Others brought fruit from the trees in their yard. At this time of the year, there were oranges and chestnuts available. In no time, the table in the Ni family's living room was piled high with all kinds of little gifts. Immediately, Yang starts herding everyone to sit down. Since there were many children, some of them didn't reach the table and stood next to the adults. The food was sumptuous. Shiny red braised pork, braised pig's feet with soybeans, glistening roasted chicken, and in the middle of the table was a large pot of grilled fish, surrounded by blanched vegetables and tofu skin. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.